Fellas and fellettes, welcome into the Auto Rhythm Fantasy Studios. I am Jamie. That's Eli. Welcome in. It's a Wednesday night, not a Thursday. But yeah, this is our last night of our 8-week divisional previews. I'll be finally glad that this is over with because fuck, it's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah, it is, man. We've been spending almost 2 months doing this. So we've done everything, man. We've done the AFC East, NFC East. We did the South divisions. We did the North divisions. And last week we did the AFC West. This week the NFC West. Got a bunch of goodies coming. Talk about Kyler. Talk about Puka, the superstar rookie from last year. Talk a little bit about the 49ers. And bringing up the rear, we'll be talking a little Seahawks, talk Geno and Kenneth Walker and those kind of guys. But as always, go and subscribe to the page, like the video, do all that jazz. Same stuff we spew out every week. You help us out, and there's those dirty YouTube algorithms, man. They play better when you go and you like the videos. But we have a bunch of previous streams over on YouTube. Jay's got a whole playlist, so
Yeah.
I mean, archive content. If you're just new to us, we've got probably two years worth of stuff. Go over to Spotify and listen to anything. It's going to be helpful because fantasy drafts are coming up. Some of them are upon us. So I know we're doing a college dynasty draft right now. So a lot of drafts are going to be coming up. August is tomorrow. It's already the end of July here. So
All right.
coming, preseason's coming. Hall of Fame game with the Texans and Bears.
Yeah.
That's coming. That's coming up real soon. So, it's that time of year. So we're banging out our last division tonight, and maybe we'll have to discuss what we're gonna do next week and throughout August. But for sure, enjoy what we're doing tonight here.
Yeah, I think after this week, I think we're gonna try to get some guests. We'll just talk about some different random things, sports related stuff. We might toss in a little college. We will be kind of bringing some college content. If you if you guys want, follow me up in X at Algorithm Fan. That's up there. Eli's handle is up there too as well. But yeah, I've been posting a few little tidbits on X for some college fantasy related stuff over there. But yeah, we're thinking about maybe just tossing out some college fantasy stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's out there yet, but I'll have to double check and make sure. But we will be doing a separate pod for college stuff in general. So anything college related will be on a different pod, not our normal NFL fantasy stuff. So anything college will be over there on the college related pod as well. I'm sure. I think it's out on Spotify. If you Google it, you might be able to find it. I am not sure, but I'll let you guys know. But that's little tidbits coming out sooner or later. That there will be some college stuff content coming out sooner or later. Since we're doing some college, actually did some dynasty and freaking redraft stuff kind of going on right now too as well. So college happens before all of our NFL fans. It's rolling and doling and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
It was fitting. Bubs is back tonight. What's up, fellas? Hey, Bub. How you doing, man? Yeah, me and Bubs, we're actually gonna be going to a Cornhusker game in November, so that'll be fun. Be going to the UCLA Nebraska game. You should be coming too, but
I think I might have to. I might have to do one of those. Man, he's
coming. We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna bring Jamie, his wife, maybe the whole family. So that'd be fun. That'd be fun as hell.
I've always wanted. I'm about 6 hours. He's about 3 hours. Well, we're both 6 hours from the stadium. So I mean, it's pretty much a day drive. It doesn't take that long to get down there to see a Nebraska game. Their stadium looks amazing down there. I've always wanted to see a live college game. It's just probably the atmosphere is 10 times better than an NFL game. So I always want to check one out. So
atmosphere is gonna be crazy and cheaper than an NFL game, that's for sure.
Right?
I was gonna say, did you have any thoughts on any of the headlines going on? I'll bring one up quick. I'll see what you think, and if you have maybe one or two of your own. But I noticed the Bears gave DJ Moore an extension, and I guess it's a bargain at this point, considering what some of these number one receivers are getting. These 1A kind of guys, because I'd consider DJ Moore more of a 1A.
What?
Yeah. I think it's 4 years, 110 million.
Yeah, I seen something yet. I think it was either today or yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, DJ Moore got paid. And
Yeah.
I think it's just more of a insurance policy for him, I guess, because they need a wide receiver there. I mean, they can't really, I think Allen's on a 1-year deal or whatever. I mean, whatever they gave him, but I think he's probably one and done with the Bears. And Rome's pretty much going to be the number 2 guy sooner or later. Probably the second half of this year. So I mean, they need some kind of security there for Williams.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Keenan's going to be a 1-year guy, and then I think he falls.
Yeah.
We're not going to see what we saw last year, 150 targets.
Oh, no, that's long gone.
Yeah,
Done.
Keenan Allen's not getting that. I mean, he had no competition with the Chargers. Let's be honest. I mean, that their skill position guys were a joke. This year he's going to be fighting, with DJ, Rome Odunze, Swift, Cole Kmet, Everett, the tight end. I mean, it's going to be a who's who. So. And a rookie quarterback too. So yeah, Keenan Allen's not going to sniff that. It's going to be a 1-year deal. I like that. You lock DJ up. He's basically getting like Nico Collins kind of money, which I'm fine with. I mean, that's right in the ballpark where, I think DJ is a fringe top 15, top 17 fantasy receiver. So I think that's, right in that Nico Collins range, maybe a little bit below that. So I think that money's fair. And
yeah,
I was going to say, did you have any I don't know when it's going to kick in. I'm not sure if it's next year or a couple years, but they're talking about basically trading in another one of the preseason games for a regular season game. So I think they want to go to 18 games.
Yeah,
that's more content for guys like us. I mean, that more stats, different players getting involved, because there's going to be more. I don't think you're going to see any more of the Eli Manning, Brett Favre. They go to 18 games. You're not going to see any more of the Eli Manning, Brett Favre kind of, Iron Man stuff. You're going to see a lot of guys getting, their own personal bye weeks. I think you're going to see a lot more guys play 15, 16 games of, if there's an 18-game schedule, miss a couple. That's just initial.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, then we're going to have like what college is doing. They're going to have two bye weeks, and then we're going to be sitting here thinking about, well, this guy's got this bye and this bye. We got a week 6, so we got a week 11 bye.
It's going to make it more challenging.
Yeah, it's just as more hogwash, I guess, put it that way. Well, and then you see the new kickoff rules, all this stuff I posted in our Discord too as well, shared that.
You know what? It's very convoluted, and it's right now it doesn't make sense, because usually the NFL is like McDonald's, right? If McDonald's makes a change to their fast food menu, it's usually it's subtle, right? It'll be something. They'll bring back something like the McRib. They'll bring like something back from the past, or make a very subtle change to an item. Like there's never any like wholesale. McDonald's is never changing their logo. They're never doing a bunch of drastic stuff. The NFL, you can pretty much count on it every year. Maybe there are a few alterations, but this kickoff rule, I don't know about.
Yeah, well, maybe they need to come up with a new one called McDickin, because they're just dicking around with all this bullshit.
Yeah, no, what I want to see who it benefits first. I mean, we haven't even had a preseason game with it yet. I want to, because that's going to change the fantasy. It could be a paradigm shift in fantasy. I mean, we could be considering kick returners, guys that aren't, maybe the number 6 receiver on a roster, or maybe a backup corner, could end up being like super valuable fantasy guys. So it'd just be interesting to see, with the kickoff rules. But I was reading through it, I'm like, it seems a little bush league, seems a little convoluted, a little bit. Usually the NFL is great about making stuff simple. NFL's simple, easy to understand for the casual fan. But
it's
wait and see with this.
I think. Well, see, my personal thought is that I think we just need to keep 3 preseason games, because we got a lot of these guys. There's these kids that are actually trying to make a roster to actually be the 5th or 6th wide receiver on a team. Give these guys an opportunity to actually see what they're made of. Try to make the 50-man 3 roster. If not, they're going to their practice squad where they could probably go in somewhere else. But at least give these kids an opportunity to feel, the kind of a subpar experience of the NFL without having to get rid of all these freaking, you know, preseason games. And like the other thing is too, the prone of getting injured, well, that's what this part of the game. Anybody can get injured during the part of the, anybody can actually get injured during the season or preseason. I mean, just look at the Cowboys training camp. We had one of our linemen go down. He was going to be a lineman done for the season, ACL. You can't put a time or time and date on when someone's going to get injured. It just happens.
I think I understand that, but I think they're trying to avoid unnecessary stuff. Like they'd rather have, okay, well, our $20 million offensive tackle, our $28 million pass rusher. Okay, they were hurt in week 3, a freak accident, torn ACL. I think teams, these owner. I think it's more ownership. I think it's more the owners that are like, I don't really want my guy going down in August 1st, or July.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, let's not have it
during the season.
Well, I mean, coaches, I guess that's. I mean, let's not have a training camp at all. We'll just go right into the week 1. Boom. Let's just see what happens. Why? That's the whole point of it. Let's not have a training camp. We'll just go straight week 1. No reps, no nothing. We're just going. It's stupid.
Well, it's hurting the product. I mean, honestly, I fantasy wise, with obviously, best ball, dynasty, whatever you're into, parlays, you do the DFS stuff. Like it's for gambling, it's never been better. Fantasy, you could argue too that it's never been better. The actual play on the field, kind of like the NBA, like it just depends on your preference. But I don't think the product is as good as it used to be. It's just
fucking garbage.
And a lot of it is the lack of practice, lack of preseason. These guys aren't hit. I mean, look who the most successful teams are. They're the Chiefs, 49ers, teams that actually play during the preseason or they actually practice in pads, are tend to be the most successful. Lions, I could. Oh, Peter's back.
Yeah, I forgot to put up his comment. He actually commented way before we even started.
Well, he was ready. He was probably ready an hour ago. We were waiting on me.
I was actually listening to their pod. They were talking about a bunch of just different random stuff. I was just kind of chiming in. They were they were talking about Puka. They were talking about risers and fallers, Mustard to A-Chain and Kyrene Williams, to Cornrum and stuff. Just risers and fallers to ADP and stuff like that. But yeah, just a lot of interesting, good stuff over there. Over at the Face Off network over there. Those are a bunch of great guys over there. Bunch of very well-rounded guys and very entertaining too as well. If you like to poke fun at Anthony. He's a bear, just like Eli. You poke him a little bit, he'll react pretty quick. But no, just this whole training camp thing and people, I mean, it's just senseless. If that's the case, like I just mentioned, we just go no training camp, no nothing, just no warm ups. It's just do your little pre warm up week 1, go. If that's the case, we're watching out for player safety.
It's gonna. For the lesser guys, it's not going to affect the top 10 guys on the roster on all these teams, right? These are the highest paid guys. They're the quarterback, the pass rusher, the left tackle. This is a who's who of oh man, you know what? Oh yeah, Don, I'm going to sign one just for you, Big D. No, who's who tonight? Got Pete, Bubba. Donovan, waiting for an appearance by Jared. Maybe my brother chimes in. I mean, we have the usual suspects. They're all here for the NFC West, but right now we're talking. Like we've been doing. We usually before we kick off with the teams, we do a little bit of the headlines just to stay current. Because there's no games going on right now, and these are just our thoughts and opinions on a couple of the big topics. You know, going to the 18th game, I'm fine with that. When they went to 17, I thought it was so at least it'll go back to an even number. But you're killing the other 43 guys on the roster, or the roster. So, probably 60 to 70 players you're affecting with this.
Yeah.
Just take off the shirt, Eli. We'll call it good. Only for you, Big Daddy.
All right. Was there any other news? I haven't really been looking because I try not to really like watch any training camp stuff or buzz. This guy does
don't
this,
either,
this guy.
Dude, I'm too busy to. No offense, I love the face-off guys and Pete, but it's like I don't have much time. Especially during the week, I don't have much time to do anything, and it's like So I literally skim some of this stuff real quick just to okay, this is going on, and I saw there was a fight at Steelers camp or something. It was like
I seen one at I've seen one at the Rams or with the Chargers. Yeah, I hear all these like, ooh, big fight, big whoopty fucking do.
These weren't store. It's just and these leagues have never made more money because of social media and because of the TV contracts and stuff. But I mean, right now it's just overkill. It's like training camp fights have been happening since the beginning of time, since the beginning of football. It's just we didn't see them 30 years ago or even 15 years ago. We see all this crap now. It was probably a nothing burger with the Rams. It was probably a nothing burger with the Steelers. It's just shit happens. I mean, I don't. We have to talk about it because we're a football show, but it's one of those things. I don't take it seriously. I don't think it's going to affect Justin Fields. I don't think it's going to affect any of the Rams defense. I think everybody's these are Rams are going to make the playoffs regardless. We're going to be talking about them. Steelers should be in contention like they always are. I don't know how good they're going to be, but it's the same old stuff. I might be surprised if it was the Chiefs. No, an organization like that might surprise me, but some of these other ones, I'm like, tit for tat.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about right. It kind of is what it is. I haven't. Well, honestly, I've been waiting to kind of, for my Good Morning Football, but they haven't been airing yet. So I don't know. I was going to dig into see when they're talking about like training camp stuff like that, and I'm not sure if that's just on the NFL Network thing now or not, because I know they moved from like New York to, again, they were going to begin with like the Los Angeles Rams Stadium or some crap like that. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, but I just know they were moving to a different location, and I haven't really heard anything yet. So I'm like, usually when I get off work, I turn on it Good Morning Football and watch that until I pass out. And I haven't had that for a while. So so that's kind of that's usually how I get my NFL news, that I'm sleeping while I'm hearing news. I'm like, okay, CMC is going to be a number one running back in the fantasy football. Sweet.
His alarm clock. That's his alarm clock. I've stayed with. I know what his. He's got a couple. Yeah, he's got a couple different things going on. If they, I mean, I guess they're struggling for ratings, but they're not many people. Most people are just trying to wake up at that hour, trying to get coffee, trying to, whatever. If they have to drive like me, like drive to work, whatever the deal is, it's, I don't know. It makes sense. I mean, Chargers, Rams move into SoFi, for like a live set. I mean, especially now, coming up on the season, that makes total sense. If they want to move Good Morning Football over there for sure. You know what? You know what it's time for? You know what? No more headlines. No more. No.
As I would say.
My eyes are dry as shit. You guys have probably been seeing me fucking play. My eyes are dry as shit. So
well, it actually has been kind of humid up here, and we had 2 thunderstorms already this morning. One woke me up. One woke me up out of my sleep. I'm like, God damn it, dude! What time is it? It's only like 11 o'clock. I'm like, yep, I'm going back to bed.
Round 2, yeah.
Yep, round 2, right?
Oh, God. Well, we beat the weather. Knocked out some headlines here. Now it's time. Drum roll, please.
Oh, we should have had one of those. God dang it!
I got the sound effect. Don't you worry, I'm here, baby. The number 1 fantasy team in the NFC West, and potentially one of the best in the league.
Oh, the best in the league? Are they better than the Ravens? Not the Ravens, the Chiefs.
Neck and neck.
I
love some of the rookies they drafted. Up, there's 2 of them right there. Yes.
Oh no, not that way.
A little too low. There we go. I can see myself. I can see you. I can see Brock Purdy. We're good. We're good.
Yes.
Okay. So rules of the game, since this is the last one, this is not this 8 of 8, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go over the rules quick. So if you're new to us, basically I will put a top 5 together, and we do skill position. We don't fuck with defense. We don't fuck with kickers. We know leagues will have defensive players and kickers defense. We get that. We all of our leagues include a lot of that stuff too. So we get it, but they're just not. I mean, skill positions where it's at. This is an offensive league, so we stick with what works. So I'll put my top 5 players. I think in terms of importance in my eyes, and in some cases it goes as it should. Obviously Christian McCaffrey. I don't think anybody will argue that he's the number one. He might be the number one fantasy guy in all of fantasy. Definitely on the 49ers. I don't know, Jay. What are your thoughts on CMC at number 1?
Some people are not drafting CMC at number 1. Some people are going CMC or some people are going Jefferson. Some people are going Lamb. So I mean, CMC is personally going to kind of in the third, going third. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to check something. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, there's no pulse there. Yeah, your take and everybody else's take is dead. How do you not take this man number 1?
I mean, if you love CMC, of course. I mean, he gives you the receiving part of the game, gives you the rushing. So I mean, he's that nice dual threat guy you want. But a lot of people like the importance of a nice number 1 wide receiver. I mean, Lamb and maybe Lamb and Dak kind of get together. Jefferson and who knows what's going to happen there. But Jefferson got paid, so I mean, he's got to be a number 1. And he's trying.
My eyes were dry. Now I'm shedding a few tears. I'm crying. I'm crying on the inside. He had over 2,000 all-purpose yards last year. He had 21 touchdowns in an offense where how many mouths were there to feed? I mean, George Kittle, number 5 tight end in PPR, number 5 tight end in PPR last year. The twins, as I call them, Ayuk and Debo. Number 14 and 15 receiver, and he was sharing carries with Debo and Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason. So it's like he was sharing the wealth with other guys that are, Brandon Ayuk's trying to get $30 million a year. George Kittle is top 10, if not still a top 5 fantasy tight end. I mean, we're talking about what? We're talking about some heavy hitters here, and McCaffrey's getting his stats. Regardless of that, he's bypass. You know what I mean. You see the bypass on the interstate. He took the bypass and he just dominated. His number. I mean, Breece Hall can't even come close. And Breece Hall is great. He can't even sniff CMC in terms of statistics. You just can't. As a running back, it wasn't his fault they lost the Super Bowl last year. I mean, CMC is. Okay. You're saying CeeDee Lamb. Is there anybody else that's getting drafted? Just for some of the drafts you've seen so far, any of the mock drafts, is there anybody else going over CMC?
No, just those 2 guys. I mean, that's it. I mean, those are the 2 top 3 guys. They'll kind of be vice versa, but most, depends on if someone's a 49ers fan or, they'll end up taking CMC, and then, pretty much it'll be, Lamb, Jefferson, so pretty much they'll kind of flip flop in there. It all depends on people's moods too, or whatever, what they want. And it all depends on how you're constructing your roster as well too. So, I mean, if you want a high flying wide receiver or you want a running back, hey, that's what floats your boat.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention too, we keep the rookies on the far left, so those will be, and we'll get into a little bit of them. You'll hear more about Ricky Pearsall probably towards the end of the show when I do my rookie top 5 of the. Was it a list I did? I think I did a list. Yes, I did.
You think?
I think. Isaac Guerendo, the rookie running back from Louisville. Maybe on honorable mentions here in a second. Maybe we'll bring him up, but he's going to have a hard time getting any kind of carries. Jay will probably have a graphic maybe with the 49ers running backs. Not tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
No, I have no dark sleeper this week. Well,
Okay.
I mean, I didn't get that far. No dark horse.
Well,
I mean, there could be some dark horses in this.
Could be.
In this
There's
one,
be some dark, some dark sleepers, some dark meat, whatever you're into. I mean, it's coming. And then we usually keep the offensive breakdown in the middle of the chart up there, and obviously targets. So Brandon Ayuk led them in targets last year. George Kittle was second. Debo, CMC, Juwan Jennings, and then their fullback.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty universal. I don't think anybody's going to argue with CMC being number one. Now, as we get into number 2, 3, 4, 5, that might create a little debate. So if you guys have any thoughts, go ahead and share them in the comments, and we'll be sure to bring them up. It enhances the show. It helps the show, helps the flow of everything. If you guys comment, be interactive with things. So and 49ers, they tend to be polarizing. Because I mean, we know all the championships they have. They were just in the Super Bowl last year. They've been in they've been in 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years, something like that. So I mean, the 49ers have been highly successful. They're very polarizing. You either hate them or you love them. And there's the receiver chart up there. So you know what? I'm gonna skip Brock Purdy for a second since you got the receivers up there. We'll talk about the twins.
We can
Ayuk and Samuel. I have at number 3 and 4. And as you can see, their statistics, Debo is not going to give you the amount of targets, obviously, and receptions that Ayuk is, but Debo makes up for that with rushing yards and touchdowns. Debo should be getting over 200 yards rushing, about 5 touchdowns. So it almost kind of offsets. That's why they're so similar, and where they're being, average draft position. That's why they're so similar, because Ayuk's not going to give you the running, but he's going to get over 100 targets. He's going to have over 1,000 yards, probably have, somewhere around 7 touchdowns. And and Debo, like I said, Debo will have probably 10 or 11 total touchdowns, between rushing and receiving, have about what Ayuk has in yards there. Ayuk has, he's projected on Sleeper to have over 1,100. Debo is probably somewhere in that range too, between rushing and receiving. So receptions, obviously Ayuk's going to get him there. So they're very close in fantasy. I don't know that's a good debate. What's your preference? Like if you were next in line, if you're drafting, are you taking Ayuk or are you taking Debo? And you can bring up regardless of what it is, best ball or your typical redraft, like where you place, because like I said, it's the margin between these two guys fantasy wise is razor thin.
Well, you can kind of expect sometimes Debo does kind of get injured. He's maybe out a week or 2. So my thoughts is Ayuk, and I mean, if he's there, he hasn't missed any games, so I mean, he's one of Brock Purdy's favorites, even when he was out, so I mean, he's kind of one of the, I mean, yes, he's third round guy coming off the board. Samuel's pretty much rated kind of maybe 4 or 5, give or take in there. From what I've seen, 5th round. So I mean, he's going a couple round, around in between coming off the board. So Ayuk is the first guy coming off the board. So I mean, a guy that gets targets, receptions. I mean, that was kind of actually helped this team get off the to a good start. Hell yeah, I'm going to take Ayuk. And even though he wants to get paid, I mean, I don't think personally. We mentioned he's not elite, but he's that good number 2 wide receiver that is very well active.
Yeah, and we didn't know about the contract situation with Ayuk. Obviously, that's been one of the major headlines this offseason. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? It's like that Clash song. Am I staying or am I go now? I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing there, but he showed up. I think he's going to play this year regardless. I think he's going to realize, wow, I'm going to miss out on a year of statistics for 2020. Donovan's chiming in here. For 2024, Ayuk or Devontae Smith. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, that's finger licking good. I'm gonna eat them dubs. God, what you got to put me on the spot like that, D?
Ayuk for me.
I'm gonna take Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're taking Ayuk.
I mean, I just it all depends because
Brock Purdy is severely even with a year and a half of success, Jay. Like, I don't think people realize how good Brock Purdy is and how good he is, fantasy wise too. Like people are sleeping on Brock Purdy, and we know what we're getting from Jalen, but I think they're gonna reemphasize the running game. So I think it might be some Dallas Goedert over there, might be some AJ Brown. I mean, Devontae Smith might take a step back, honestly. With Saquon coming in and losing a few key pieces off their offensive line. We don't know what's going to happen in Philly. So based on that, yeah, Brandon Ayuk, I'm taking over Devontae Smith, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say so myself too as well. I mean, Ayukin's in a better position to kind of be that wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 on a weekly basis. Depending on Debo, where he could maybe, like I mentioned, miss a couple weeks, and and Ayukin is still gonna come out on top. I mean, I was gonna take a look. Ayukin's probably been in the top 10, top 15 for fantasy weekly. I mean, he's had more likely quite a few weeks where he was great, where people were like, hell yeah, dude. Well, he's kind of like, once he gets going, he's like, Ayukin's kind of like a good fantasy target guy to like trade for in, even dynasty or even just redraft, if it depends on what you're doing. But he's one of those guys that you can target later on, once he gets going. If he's having a bad bye week or a bad week, maybe he's a buy low, but right now he's buy high.
He had 4. It's funny you mentioned that. Brandon Ayuk had 4 top 8 finishes last year.
Yep.
So meaning that he was one of the top 8 fantasy receivers for the week four times, which is very, very impressive. Which basically makes you elite. My opinion, you're top 8 4 times. You'll at least for that. So yeah, Brandon Ayuk is very, very good. You can't go wrong with him. It just basically depends on where you draft him. Obviously, you can't take him over even like a Puka. I would take Puka fantasy wise over Ayuk, but you start getting into the Devontae Smith realm, T. Higgins. Yeah, I would take Brandon Ayuk over both of those guys. Absolutely. Put the comment back up there. I'm sorry, that was a little blip on the screen. We were on the same page. I kept Ayuk over Smith. Needed to decide in a trade. Well, great minds think alike, D. That's why we're all that's why we're all kumbaya here. Any thoughts, Jay? Any thoughts on a little bit further down the depth chart here? Ricky Pearson, maybe Jacob Cowing, the rookie from Arizona, who had a great college career.
I was trying to think about that myself too.
Jawan Jennings here. I don't know. He's deceptively like people always think, if he got more targets, he could be a really good number 3. No, he's a nice role player.
He's kind of
4 or 5 receiver, number 4, number 5 receiver. That's what Jawan Jennings is.
It's kind of like, especially for people in deeper leagues. I mean, he's kind of one of those. He's kind of like a guy for that style of play for your deeper leagues, where you kind of need a body that will
all deeper leagues. Yep.
Yeah. Well, maybe not best ball too much, but deeper leagues for sure. I know he'd be a good fit for deeper leagues if you want a piece of the Niners tags.
He's had a few weeks where you're like, whoa, okay, but he can't consistently. And there's a lot of number 4 receivers that
are kind of like
that's why they're number 4 receiver. They'll pop up one week, have 3 catches, 91 yards, touchdown. You're like, whoa, why can't they do that every week? Because they can't. Because it'll be 1 catch, 13 yards the next week. 3 targets. So
that's my thought. Well, I'll try it. It's funny when we, hear this pop back here, just like real quick at this beginning. I mean, look at Ricky's, college stats: 159 receptions, 2,420 some receptions, only 14 tutties. That's not saying a lot for being, drafted in the first round. In my thoughts, I'm just like, that's a, it's to me, it proves to me that he's. There could have been Leggett probably could have even been better than him going in the first round at the end there. But I think they could have gotten Ricky in the second round. I think he could have been more of a day two guy.
I think Ricky should have been taken in the second round, absolutely. But I think he's a fit for their system. I think he's exactly he's basically what you would want in a number 3, number 4 receiver, and they're not asking him to be a number 1.
Right now, anyways.
Right now, obviously, they're probably going to lose one of these 2 guys just with the cap and everything. But I mean, that's a nice place to be. Like, Arizona, they're asking Marv Jr. to step in day 1 and be a number 1. And the Giants, they're asking Malik to step in day 1, be a number 1. So he doesn't Ricky doesn't have that kind of pressure. He can step in year one, be a number 3, maybe number 4 receiver, just kind of learn on the job.
Yeah, that was kind of my thoughts. And you can get Ricky pretty much toward the end of your drafts. He's going in the 13th,
Yeah, he's cheap.
13th round. So I mean, if you want to take a flyer on a guy like him, I mean, it's pretty much what he is. He's going to be most of these rookies are going to be flyers. Some of them might be, Benson and Corm are in good situations where we'll get to that. We'll get to those later, but if they're in a position where they can actually end up being, the lead role guys.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, do you have any thoughts on Ronnie Bell or Jacob Cowing? Anybody below that's not going to see any targets this year. Come on now.
I think they had.
I mean, Cowing or Bell might be lucky to see target. Being a 5-6 receiver. I mean, with this team is so stacked, like anybody below isn't going to get a single catch. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah, I think Cowing. He's kind of like. I was gonna have him as maybe one of my my dark horses to kind of keep an eye on, because if you think about it, I mean, he was actually targeted at just as much as a slot guy as Malachi Washington from Miami, and those were the two top guys. Yeah, those were the two top guys for slot guys coming out of the draft, and I think Cowing went super late. I think both those guys went super late. They had some of these guys, they were kind of projected kind of high, but they end up going like really super late. I think sixth round, I believe, for both of them.
Let me double check on that quick with Jacob Cowing. Let me see here,
because I think he was 6th.
I thought it was the 5th round. I could be wrong here. Let me see here.
Yeah, I think he was 6th.
4th round. No,
Jacob,
4th round. He went in the 4th round. So yeah, he's actually taken relatively high. But we've seen a lot of. I mean, St. Brown from the Lions. I mean, how much? I mean, did you get any better than him in the slot? I mean, he was a 3rd, 4th round pick. So Cowing, I think Cowing might have a brighter future than Ricky Pearsall. I mean, in the long run, I mean, Cowing is, people are sleeping on him. I mean, he's not going to see much action here because this is such a good team and they have so many guys in front of him. If he went to like Carolina, he'd have a better chance at getting, more haul of more of a haul the first year. I think you're playing the long game with a guy like Jacob Cowing, because I think he's got definitely got more potential than Ronnie Bell. Definitely got more potential than Juwan Jennings. I think had just as much as Ricky Pearsall, if not more. So Cowing's a guy to watch. Moo buckaroo.
I mean, he is. I know. I mean, if he went somewhere else where not where it's crowded, he probably could have been a little more acclimated to actually seeing some more targets and stuff like that. But since the Niners got a room full of people, it's just going to be very hard to get everybody targets in this system. So, and it's probably going to take, if it does come to it, it's going to have to take somebody getting injured for him to get a role.
Yeah, absolutely. And Deebo Samuel has an injury history. So, and players like him don't last as long in the league. I think Deebo's 5th year. I know that's not very many, but in NFL, it's like cat, it's like cat or dog years, I should say.
Yeah. Samuel and Ayukin, they both actually played about. Samuel played about 481 plays in the slots. And then Ayukin did 554 plays in the slot as well. So they play both these guys more in the slot compared to a lot of the outside roles. So maybe this is where Ricky actually comes out in the outs. Is more an outside role,
more of an outside X. Yeah. No, and Ricky's gonna have to be. If he ain't now, he better develop into one. I mean, we saw all his crazy catches, and so that's what got him noticed with some of the highlight stuff from Florida. So if you haven't seen Ricky Pearsall before, I mean, go check him out. I mean, he does some. Yeah, exactly. We did a college spotlight on him, and he does some amazing stuff. But it's going to be hard. That's why this has been the same fantasy 5 the last couple years. I guarantee if we did, I think we probably had the same 5 last year, honestly, with Purdy, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Samuel, Kittle.
Yeah.
It is what it is. This running back room here is a little interesting. And I think it's more of the backup spot, because I think Gorendo has a chance. And if Cody Schrader makes the team, we know damn well he's got a chance. Because Cody Schrader, I mean, he was a beast at Missouri. We did a spotlight on him as well. We did one on Isaac too. So we got a cheap plug for some of our college spotlights that we did. But I mean, we previewed a lot of this stuff. I'm not sure if we included the 49ers. I'd have to go back and look. It's been a while, but
I don't remember if we did or didn't. We it's very possible we could have mentioned the Niners too.
We could have because after CMC, I mean, Elijah Mitchell doesn't impress me. He's just I mean, he's good enough to stay in the NFL, but he's not like a world beater. Like it wouldn't shock me if any of these two guys jumped him and was the backup to CMC for sure. And obviously, McCaffrey hasn't been hurt the last couple of years, but he did have those years in Carolina where he was banged up. And is Jordan Mason even with the team anymore?
Yeah, I think he's like farther down the depth chart.
He's still there. Yeah. So
yeah, he's still there.
You have shares of Jordan Mason, just in Dynasty or whatever. He's probably got no value at this point because Cody Schrader might beat him out for a roster spot.
Yeah, Cody Schrader with 2 years at Mizzou, he had 745 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1,600 27 with 14 touchdowns. So I mean, he's pretty he's damn good. I mean, he was pretty much a walk-on. They're trying to eliminate walk-ons from the college now, but he was pretty much a walk-on. Came in, tore it up. He had some pretty good games, against some of the college guys, and I think I kind of compared him to kind of Kenneth Walker a little bit. He's kind of got that Kenneth Walker kind of vibe to him with Cody Schrader. So he's kind of got that. He's kind of a small, patient runner. He's got good foot skills. So I mean, we kind of highlighted some of his skills. I'll put his link up there to Cody Schrader. So if you want to take a look at that, and we did Isaac Guerendo. He's kind of a little bit more of I think he's a little bit more of a speedster, but he had some great games. That draw Jordan, he was behind him in that backfield with the Cardinals. But I mean, both those guys were pretty much two AB or two-headed monster. So I mean, Jar had like 1,000 some odd yards. Guerendo was pretty damn close to having 1,000 some yards. I think Guerendo was more in the passing game than Jawar,
which will be great here. Nice insurance policy. I mean, nowhere near CMC, nobody is, but Guerendo is a nice insurance policy to catch passes out of the backfield. I think that's where his value is going to be, especially his first year, maybe first 2 years. So if you're playing the long game with Guerendo, that'll probably be his strength. Elijah Mitchell, like I said, he's a guy good enough to stay in the NFL. Doesn't impress me. Cody Schrader. We talked about Jordan Mason. So that's the running back room. Those basically they're fighting for table scraps from CMC. The only way anybody's going to see any significant action is if CMC goes down. So that's
And I think personally, they got two talented guys in this backfield, Guerendo and Schrader. So if depends on Mitchell's contract, if he's if he's getting close or if he's out. I mean, these two kids could totally come in and have a nice backfield to themselves. Just looking forward, these two guys. I mean, both these guys are talented. I like both of these guys, and they, this offense would probably look totally different. If something ever did happen to CMC or Mitchell was gone. I mean, they got two guys ready to go.
Oh man, okay, so we got the running back room banged out. Bam. We got the receiving room banged out. Bang. Tight end. George Kittle, I think, is going to be 31 or yeah. Like Ellie Knight says. I think Kittle's going to be 31 or is 31, so he's getting up there in years. Is there anybody on the we usually don't care to do graphics on tight ends because most of these tight end rooms are a joke. So excuse us if we don't have you know what, but for shits and giggles, I do like to occasionally pull up the depth chart on the tight end room. This ain't bad. I mean, these aren't like, he's not a young guy, but Logan Thomas. I mean, he was a serviceable starter with Washington for a bunch of years. So Logan Thomas is the backup. Cameron Letu, the 3rd round pick from last year, he's kind of been bumped down the depth chart. He was hurt last year, so that might have affected that. But it's obviously George Kittle's room, but if George Kittle goes down, I think Logan Thomas could be serviceable.
Well, yeah, he was with Washington last year, and I had him in a few leagues here and there. So solid. I mean, very well solid, backup if Kittle ever does go down, and I think Logan had a couple touchdowns last year. I think it was at 400, 500 some odd yards, I believe. Somewhere up in there. So kind of like your, middle tier kind of guy, your average 400, 500 some odd yards, couple touchdowns. So, I mean, Logan Thomas is a great suitable resource if Kittle does go down. Those are my thoughts. And
Yep.
well, Kittle is actually going in, I had it written down, the 8th round. So, so way later after, yeah. So way super late, almost not quite double digits, but he's going there that far.
I think that's a good. He's a guy like Kelsey. I'll believe it when I see when the decline happens. Then okay, whatever. I busted on 21. It's like when it happens, let me know. But until then, you keep shoving him down your throats. You keep drafting him. You keep playing George Kittle. That's just the way it is.
I guess I didn't put the target percentage. Oh well.
That's for you to get. That's for everybody watching to guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it 10? Is it 12%? Well, that's for you to figure out.
Yeah.
Kittle, yeah. So we talk about the tight end room, Kittle, and then like I said, if you want somebody deeper league or something, a backup, Logan Thomas, definitely look at him for an insurance policy, dynasty for sure. And then the quarterbacks. I mean, we'll probably bring this graphic back up again when we talk maybe Kyler or Matt Stafford or something.
Yeah.
But, you look where Purdy stacks up. Him and because of the rushing yards, him and Kyler are close, in fantasy points. But I think Purdy's got him. I think Purdy's got more in the tank with these weapons he's working with. They're basically bringing everybody back from the previous 2 years. So I wouldn't be surprised if Purdy threw 35 touchdowns. I wouldn't be one bit surprised. He's projected for 30. He had 31 last year. I wouldn't be surprised if Purdy bumped it up to 34 or 35.
Yeah, that's about right.
And if he gets you over 4,000 yards, I mean, you bump that up a couple hundred, maybe 4,200 yards, 34 touchdowns, maybe a couple on the ground. I mean, that's going to put him right in the MVP race. That's going to put him there with Dak, Josh Allen, guys like that. So if Burrow stays healthy, Justin Herbert, if he can figure stuff out with Harbaugh. So yeah, Purdy. It is a good day to be a 49ers fan. I'll tell you what. It is a good. You're stacked fantasy wise. You got plenty of options here. You got rookies that we both like that are in the pipeline. So if something happens, you have a young guy, you probably plug it. Like you might be okay with Ricky Purcell if he's got to do some outside work. Maybe if Debo goes down, maybe you've got to have Cowing or kind of a committee of slot guys, jump in there. So it's a damn good day. You know what? I keep going back to this depth chart here because I'm curious. Oh, Josh Dobbs is the backup.
Yeah.
So I don't want him start. I mean, evidence last year. I mean, everybody had Josh Dobbs. I don't want this guy. Yeah, I don't want this guy starting like 10 games, but if he's got to start 1 or 2, if Brock gets a concussion or something happens, Josh Dobbs is a serviceable backup. Absolutely.
Yeah, so, suitable. I mean, I remember last year, everybody, was like, oh, damn. And where he actually ended up getting.
That's Vikings fans for you.
he was traded from Arizona to Minnesota, and then he ended up not playing too well, and then they swapped some other guy in. Yeah,
so it's Jaron Hall.
God. Oh, Jared Hall, let's come in and let's just get a concussion right away. Let's play a couple games. Two snaps, boom, done. Same happened again. It's just kind of like, dude, what the hell are you guys doing? Vikings, you're retarded. God, it's just stupid. But yeah,
yeah. Enough about Josh Dobbs. I don't care how smart he is. Not a long-term answer at quarterback. So yeah, as long as Purdy, CMC, and I say Kittle, as long as those 3 guys stay upright, because they've got a lot of receiver depth. As long as those 3 guys stay upright, I mean, this should definitely be, at least make the conference championship game. They'll be right in the mix, whether they play Dallas, Green Bay, Lions again. I mean, they'll be one of those Rams, maybe one of those kind of teams will probably be playing them in the conference championship game. But the 49ers should be back there. And fantasy, Brock Purdy, I got the MVP mix. So if you're drafting him or you have him, he's on, use your keeper or dynasty. I mean, you're a made man. Brock's gonna have a big year.
Yeah,
I already sensed that.
Yep, that is for sure. And we are.
I am McLovin.
Yeah, we are McLovin. Yeah, we are McLovin, the 49ers.
And I'm McLovin, the LA Rams because they're next. They're next in the list here. Here we go. Boom. Oh, you did include Jordan Whittington. Okay. Just check because he's kind of been one of the. We know what the Rams like to do with their late round picks. Look at Puka. Look at Kyron Williams.
I don't know if Whittington will be anything with these guys. I just know his on Sleeper his like ADP is rising or something.
Yeah,
so I'm like
shooting through the roof. And the
like,
Rams have a well look at the first two guys I have listed here. Fifth round and sixth round. You do the math. So
yeah, this is no more. We're moving on up, So I mean, I don't know.
No more of that damn Van Jefferson. Okay, he's long gone. So we might have a new whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever Whittington ends up being on the depth chart for sure. I think they're a little light in tight end. So tight end we might not mention as much because I'm not. That'd be like
their tight end room is.
Jay, that's why they're not on par with the 49ers. I think they have a really good fantasy lineup here, but they're not on par with the 49ers. That a lot of it's the tight end room.
Yeah, the tight end room is trash.
And the quarterback too. Stafford. I mean, Stafford was great at one time, but he's getting a little long in the tooth, and Brock's just got him beat fantasy wise. Brock can move a little bit. He gets you some rushing yards, throws more touchdowns now, less picks. So
I mean, Stafford's still going to be good. I mean, yeah, he's getting a little bit older, but I mean, I think he's just more. He's more veteran wise than anything now that he knows the team. He's got rapport with Puka and Cup, so I mean he's got a good rapport with those guys, so if anything, he's gonna throw the ball away without like trying to get hurt or anything like that, and I'm sure he's gonna watch what he does. I mean, because I know last year he had that neck issue, so I mean I think a lot of us are kind of be kind of weary on that a little bit going forward, but as long as he protects himself and I think he should be fine.
Yeah, and I like this offense a lot too. If Cooper does stay upright and Stafford stays upright, because I mean you see that 93%, almost 94% of their snaps were three receiver sets. So I mean that's going to benefit Puka, that's going to benefit Cooper Kupp, and even Demarcus Robinson as a dark horse, because Demarcus Robinson kind of came out of nowhere last year and had a really good season as a number 3. So I like what the Rams. I like their receiving core. We'll talk about the rookies here in a second, but I'll start with Puka. Do you have any issues with Puka being number 1? I mean, you could maybe.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe let's put Blake Corum up there. No, I'm just kidding.
maybe at the end of the year, who knows? But I mean, I wouldn't have included. Obviously, famously, I dropped Kyron Williams last year before the start of the season. So I mean, I'll never live that down. But
yeah, I'm going to give you shit so much for that. We started. We'd start at the Dynasty League.
Jay, I was like, I need the roster. Ends up being Kyron Williams, who was let me look, number 7 fantasy back last year.
Probably could have gotten a nice little haul for maybe some first round picks for next year,
or maybe a deep run in my league playoffs, maybe a championship. But yeah, for the 1 or 2 guys, do you have any difference between the two? I got Puka. You know what? He's not going to repeat his rookie year. Because I mean, I would assume Cooper Kupp's gonna be a little healthier than last year. I mean, Cooper Kupp, number 40 fantasy receiver last year. If he's healthy, he's gonna Cooper's gonna crack at least the top 25, maybe top 20.
Yeah, I was just trying to look at this a little bit too. I mean, I was looking at Williams. He's going in the 3rd round, and I was looking at most of my best ball drafts and stuff like that. 3rd round, I'm like, God damn, that's kind of actually too high for my likings. I'm like, dude, what the frick? Because he's actually going in a round of like Barkley, Taylor, Estime, and that's just in the 3rd round there. So I'm like, what? And I rather take guys in the 4th round. You can get Henry, Cooks, Whites, and Walker in the 4th round. So I mean, I just don't see the hype with Williams. I mean, yeah, he might be their ball carrier, but I mean, he's injury prone. He's injury prone, So I mean, it all in all, in my eyes, hell, I'll take Blake Corum at the end of or toward the end of my drafts.
Yeah. I mean, at this time last year, it would have made total sense. I mean, like I said, he was coming off, and I mean, when he was out there, he was productive his rookie year in 2022. But he was just a guy. You're like, okay, maybe Ronnie Rivers beats him out. Maybe Ronnie Rivers stays healthy, or maybe they bring back Darrell Henderson Jr. I mean, the Rams. McVay falls in and out of love with players like nobody's business. So just because Kyren Williams is the guy now, it doesn't mean that Blake Corum can't supersede him. I mean, that's. And Blake Corum is that good. Blake Corum, let me repeat this. The man scored 27 rushing touchdowns last year. Who does that? Who scores 27 rushing touchdowns in the year? Blake Corum does. That's who the hell it is. But yeah, I mean, just out of respect for Kyren, what he did last year, like I said, number 7 fantasy back, had over 1,100 yards, 12 rushing touchdowns. Throw in 3 more touchdowns receiving. So, I mean, just a monster year, 15 total touchdowns. I don't see him repeating that. So I think he might be not a dud, but he might come back to the pack a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's
being there.
I mean, if I would see more suitable in like the 5th or 6th round for a guy like him, where he could be in there with, guys like Cook, maybe, after like Walker, White, and Cooks and stuff like that, kind of afterwards. But I just don't see him being a 3rd round running back right away. I'm like, hell no. I'm like, I just like there's better suitors that I like than Kyren Williams in the 3rd round.
Yeah, and you listed some of the guys. There's some guys in the 4th round I'd rather have over him. So it's dicey. I wouldn't take him that high. I think buyer beware. And he's projected to have top 5 or 6 stats. I think that's a little overrated too. I'm a little biased. I got burned by the guy last year, but I'm trying to be professional about this. But I'm not his biggest fan. I didn't get it. I remember watching him at Notre Dame. I thought he was good, not great. I didn't see a fucking top 7 fantasy season ever coming from him. I'll be honest. That took me by surprise. So. And Jay's got the graphic up there too, projected for over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, probably 2-3 receiving. So
yeah, I mean, I think that simmered back. I think this all sleepers projections.
Yep.
I don't. I mean, it.
I use Fantasy Pros on the bottom scroll there, the ticker. So I use Fantasy Pros and Jay uses Sleeper. So that's where we get our 2 sources from, and it's a nice combination. Usually it's somewhere in the middle, where you can kind of meet in the middle with the projections. So,
yeah, I don't see Kyren having 1,000 some odd yards. I think maybe more like between the 8 and 9, and Corum more towards the 6 and 7. I think this might be a little bit more split than a lot of people think. I don't think he runs off with his backfield. I don't see that with a guy talented like Corum coming in, where you can actually get his backup in the 12th fucking round. I mean, that's almost at the end of your drafts. I mean, that's insane.
No, that's not just stealing. I mean, that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit when Jesse James, the Old West, when Jesse James robbed banks, he'd hold them up, stick them up. That's what it is. It's a hold up. That's what this is. You're robbing 20 banks here. All right, this is the Old West.
Jesus.
Sweet Jesus. Yeah, that's right. That's you damn right. Blake Corum in the 12th round. Sign me up. Sign me up now. Get
Congrats. Here's your Oakleys.
You thought I loved me some Jonathan Brooks from Carolina. You wait. Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. The only reason Blake Corum isn't over Kyren Williams is because it's jumping the gun too soon. It's jumping the gun too soon. But it'll happen. It's going to happen. Blake Corum will be the feature back of this team, whether it's the end of this year, 2025. So if you're playing, I would be playing the long game with Blake Corum. 2025. I've said this about a couple players. Play the long game. Wait a year. If you're doing dynasty, just be patient. Let them cook. Jay, we're making a cake here. Okay, it's got to be moist. It's got to cook a little bit. Got to bake a little bit. Ronnie Rivers, warm body.
Yeah, pretty much. Ronnie Rivers, Zach Evans, warm bodies. Really, I mean, that's all these 2 guys are. I mean,
Zach Evans, I thought Zach Evans might be what ended up becoming Kyren Williams. I thought Zach Evans had the potential, come out of Ole Miss. I thought Zach Evans could be the 6th round guy that he popped and ended up being Kyren Williams. But I thought, I thought Evans had that potential, not so much anymore. I'm kind of like, he's a rotation guy. If somebody gets hurt, might get some carries, but
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that because if a lot of people are going for Williams,
let
so
him.
be it.
Let
Yeah,
him.
because we already put our thoughts
I'm going to pay for him.
thoughts out there on these guys. So I'll give me Blake Corum. I mean that's just me though. I can get him later and I'll stash him.
Yeah.
See what happens. If not, you can see if some other bucko wants him or whatever. Make a trade for him or whatever. But I mean, I'll take Blake Corum at the in the 12th round there.
We're gonna have a new segment on the show called, they used to have the smash and dash. If you did the old, did a one night stand to the old pump and dump. Instead of doing the smash and dance, you're gonna do the stash and dash because you're taking Blake Corum, you're setting him aside, you're getting your hands on him. I'm saying, you need to get your greasy paws all over Blake Corum. You stick him to the side, let him bake a little bit. 2025, you got yourself a feature back. I think he's got the potential to be a top 10 fantasy back. Absolutely, every bit as good as Kyron Williams was last year.
Yeah.
So so that's what we think about the room. Kyron Williams for now. I was pounding the table for Zach Stacy back in the day. What a dummy I was. I remember Zach Stacy.
Yeah. Good.
They've had some randos. They've had some randos Rams because it's McVay. It's like he has his system. He has his guys. He falls in and out of love with everybody. I mean, look what he did to Jared Goff. I mean, Jared Goff's a pretty damn good fantasy quarterback and having success with the Lions. Him, he's like, bye. I mean, it could be the same here with Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp, has been a fantasy legend the last probably 5 years. And,
for sure.
He could be cut bait, just for Puka and, I mean, I think that's I think Demarcus Robinson's black, but maybe he got a skin. I don't know. Maybe he changed colors. I don't know.
It probably could be.
Yeah, right. What the hell is that? Is that Ben Skowronek or whatever his name is?
I think so. Yeah, I probably was too entitled.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's your pun for today.
There's the pun. Yeah, the pun for Demarcus Robinson went white. Puka, I like his projections. They're coming back a little bit to the pack. I mean, what did Puka have last year? He almost 1,500 yards, 160 targets.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't score a lot of only 6 touchdowns, but if he can offset. I mean, fantasy wise, he can offset a little bit of that with a couple touchdowns. He doesn't have to have necessarily, 14, 50, 1,500 yards, a bajillion targets, bajillion catches. If he can just get, 1,200 yards, but he's got 9 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns. I mean, that's a monster year too. If you can just maybe add a couple, maybe add, he had 6 last year. If he could get up to 9, that's adding 3 touchdowns, offset some of the yards. I sign me up for that. I'll take it. Where's Puka going? By the way, in the which round? If you have
second round.
Second round.
Yep. Second round, give or take. Cooper Kupp is about 6 rounds, so almost 2 rounds between each other. So I mean, Puka's going off pretty quick, and for
Cooper might have some value in the 6th round if he's not shot and he's on 31. I mean, we see what Mike Evans is doing. I mean, we saw what Keenan Allen did last year. So I mean, there's a potential that Cooper Kupp has still got a lot of what he had a couple of years ago. So if he does, I mean, in the 6th round as compared to Puka in the 2nd, I might be willing to wait a little bit and take Cooper because Puka in the 2nd. I mean, that's he should meet his expectations, but it's a little more dangerous than taking Cooper Kupp in the 6th round.
Yeah, I mean, almost the same value, a little bit older guy, but I mean, almost the same production wise, but similar.
Yeah, look at the target. Jay, look at the target percentage. They're just about dead even. So you're getting in 4 rounds difference. You're getting pretty close to equal value. Obviously, we assume Puka's going to have more receptions, probably some more yards, but not that many. Not to make that big of a difference. Like if you can be patient, if you got other needs to fill on the team, and you can wait patiently till the 6th round for Cooper, I'd do that.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, I just looking overall in this whole like offense in general. I mean, Puka and Cooper Cup are pretty much it. After that, I mean, Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell. I mean, those
Tutu at this point, he's just he's a rotate. I mean, he's kind of like
yeah,
Juwan
and then
Jennings.
t-
He's good enough to stay on the roster, but he's nobody to take seriously. Demarcus Robinson, I like as a number 3, but the volume is going to be the volume is going to be so heavy for for Cooper and Puka that
yeah.
Demarcus Robinson's just he's an insurance policy in case one of those two guys goes down.
And that's what my other thought too was that they don't really have. I mean, they don't really have a real like tall guy for like a deep threat, And I think Jordan is like
Well,
6'1".
they never have. I mean,
No,
they really I mean, they don't have a who's that? The Keon Coleman, like the Bills just drafted him. They've got a
yeah,
big, tall, deep threat now. Keenan
yeah,
Allen's always a big, tall, deep threat. Yeah, but Cooper was always that guy though. He could because he could do everything. I mean, he was a Swiss Army knife. Cooper Kupp in his prime a couple years ago could do everything.
yeah. But now they have to turn. What they should have did is actually drafted another guy in this. Hell, I mean, bring in Jacob Cowling. Have another slot guy could have came in here and filled in a Tutu Atwell or Robinson.
Jay Cowling would have made a lot of sense here. He kind of could have taken over Tutu Atwell's spot. Hey Tutu, you're not very good. Get out of the way. Cowling would have made sense there. Or you get a bigger body. You get maybe because their tight end room is a little weak. Maybe you draft a Johnny Wilson. Like the Eagles did. You draft Johnny Wilson, and he's a developmental guy, and then you work with him, and then he either becomes bulks up, becomes a tight end, or becomes your kind of your goal line threat. Your couple yard touchdown guy, and he kind of steals a few that way, and so you have I think they should have gone definitely in the mid to late rounds. They should have gone a little bit different.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they didn't really. I mean, Blake Corum. Yeah, I totally could have seen that, but they should have gotten maybe another wide receiver, or it should have gotten a tight end in here some way or another. Because I mean, Stafford loves his tight ends too as well. So I mean, it's a good safety blanket for him too as well. I mean, there's really not there's nobody in this room that I'm gonna be drafting for tight end.
No, Davis Allen has got a little potential, but I mean, I'm out on Tyler Higbee. He's on the pup list anyways. I'm out on Tyler Higbee. It was a nice run. At times he was, maybe top 12 fantasy tight end at points, but he's always been average. He's been an average fantasy tight end. It was a nice run, Tyler. Bye. So get him on out of here. They have the young rookie. No, they don't have I always thought Parkinson was a young guy. I guess he was with Seattle. Parkinson does not. Yeah. He doesn't. He couldn't beat out Will Dissly and Noah Fant for targets. What makes you think he could be the feature guy with the Rams? Get out of here. Davis Allen, of those guys, if you are going to draft somebody, and Davis Allen's probably got some really good value. He's probably being taken super late. Davis Allen would be the guy that I would go after. I think he'll find his way to be there. And that's not saying much because most of the targets are going to go towards, Cooper and Puka, obviously. But if you have to have a tight end, you have to have a backup guy. Davis Allen's not a bad option. Deeper league, backup tight end. You can get your hands on Davis Allen. Sign me up.
Yeah, that's about right. I won't be drafting any.
I know he's kind of obscure right now. He's kind of irrelevant, but just watch. I'll be proven right. Davis Allen, he'll have a couple weeks where like, damn, 4 catches, 63 yards, touchdown. Like, I didn't see that coming. Well, if you listen to Out of Rhythm, back in the end of July, you would have. And your best ball. I think Allen's got some value in best ball. He had a couple, decent games last year where he kind of came out of nowhere. So Higbee out on. Like I said, Parkinson, maybe he's got Parkinson's disease. I don't know, but out on him. I don't believe in him. I don't believe in any guy that gets beat out by Will Dissly ever. So,
yeah, Will Dissly will never pan out to be what he was supposed to be. Even with Seattle, he pretty much was injured all the time. I know the fantasy ballers were
the feature. Jay, I forget who it was. I don't know if the Chargers or somebody's bringing him in to be the feature guy. I'm like, are you nuts? Are you on crack?
I think that I can't remember who that team was, Maybe that's I think it was the Chargers. I think the Chargers.
Yep, there goes that.
Yeah, I know
And any thoughts on any of the tight end? Before we get into Stafford, quick again. Any thoughts on the running backs, receivers, or tight ends before we move to staff?
Yep, draft your Puka and Cooper Cups. Kyrene, stay kind of weary on him. And take Blake Corum in your later round drafts toward the middle, toward the ends as a insurance policy, just in case. You don't have to take him as your, handcuff or whatever. But if you want to take an opportunity on Blake Corum, do that. Tight ends, don't give two shits about them. They're trash. I ain't drafting any of them. And yeah, that kind of sums up everything.
Yep. Kyron, I'm very weary on. Donovan, I'm trading all my Cooper Cup and Dynasty. Not so fast, my friend. I'd be patient here. I'm telling you, Cooper's going to have somewhat of a bounce back year. Just saying, Cooper Cup, and like I said, deeper in that, Davis Allen. Keep your eyes on Davis Allen and Cooper Cup to have a little bit of a so Cooper. Don't trade off your stock quite yet because he's average. His ADP is 22. So I think a lot of fantasy owners are down on Cooper Cup right now, which I understand. He was banged up last year. He's getting older. Just be patient though.
I'm the opposite. If you can trade him now, do so. Get some revenue for the 2025 NFL draft. Or if there's another guy out there this year that perks your interest that might outdo Cooper Cup, do it.
See, and everybody thinks we agree on everything. Not always. Not always. We have some differing of opinions, which is great. That's why it makes the show here. But yeah, you kind of take it from two perspectives here.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, look at some of the guys that are coming out next year. There's some good guys that are going to be coming out next year that you can totally get some good value out.
Jay, I think next year is going to have a stronger running back class. I don't know about receiver. This receiver class was stacked. Rams. They did take Whittington. The 6th round kid. We'll see what becomes of him. He was if you remember, he was the third wheel behind Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy with Texas. So if you were watching any of the playoff, college playoff game last year or any of the Texas games, Whittington, got a bunch of spunk. Not sure about his talent level, but it's worth kicking the tires on. Keep an eye on him in the preseason. We'll see what he does. Jay's gonna pull up Parkinson. Yeah, maybe Parkinson. Yeah, look where his projections are and Noah Fant's projections are compared to Trey McBride and George Kittle. Just a joke. Joke.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just my thoughts in general. Looking at these two guys, those in general, Kittle, McBride, pretty much the guys you want to go with. If you're needing somebody. So
Parkinson looks like our friend Zach.
He does.
He looks like our friend Zach. Next time I'm up at the Easy Stop, I'll have to or Jimmy John's. I'll have to. You know what? Zach, you look like Kobe Parkinson from the Rams.
They'll be like, "Damn, dude, that's cold."
Right. What the fuck? Stafford. I don't know. Do you think he can? Is that lofty if Stafford stays healthy to have almost 4,100 yards? 29, maybe 30 touchdowns. That seems a little bit lofty. I know. I love his two receivers, but. Well, I don't know. What do you think? He's not going to get you anything. Obviously, a lot like Derek Carr, not going to get you anything in the rushing game. Not even any. He's projected like probably 66 yards rushing. So Stafford's not going to get you any running, but just with his passing yards and touchdowns, going, his average draft position for quarterbacks is 20th. I'm not sure which round he's going in, but maybe Jay has that. But I you know what? Jay, based on some of the guys around him, I'd be okay taking Stafford where he's probably going to be going to. I'd be okay. Stafford's a thumbs up. I'd be okay.
You can't go wrong with Stafford. If you think about consistency wise, he's always in like pretty much top 15. Last in 2022, he was pretty he's a top 15 quarterback all day long. It won't matter. Hell, this guy had 5,000 yards passing, and some
in a 16 game season.
Yeah. And this was in 2011. And after that, dude, he's actually had the last almost 6 years for over 4,000 some yards passing. So it all varies. I mean, the last couple of years when he's injured, that's the only time he had some down seasons. But I mean, yeah, I could see 4,000 yards passing most definitely with the guys he's got. Yeah, with those two guys he's got, yes, I can totally see that. Touchdown wise, that's pretty close. I mean, pretty average, I'd probably say 27, 28-ish, right in there average wise.
Yeah, Fantasy Pros has 27. Sleepers got 29. So, yeah, about fourth. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. 28, 29 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards. Yeah, you could do worse. Even if he doesn't get you any rushing, like you could do worse. Yeah, I Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr. There's some guys in his zip code. Geno Smith is in the zip code, and I wouldn't touch Geno Smith with a 10-foot pole over Matt Stafford. Hell no. So I'm fine. Yeah, Stafford where he's going. Yeah, I'm okay. I would be okay if Matt Stafford was, because at the end of last year he was tearing it up. I mean, there were weeks where he was like, I can remember a couple. He was like a top 3 fantasy quarterback for the week. So he hasn't lost his fastball quite yet. I know he's getting older. Stafford is definitely worth. If he's there, mid rounds, late. I mean, you snag him up. You jump on him. You take him, and then you work with it. All right.
So Stafford's coming off in the 5th round, so he's probably like the 15th quarterback coming off the board, give or take. Yeah. Guys after Mayfield, Watson, Rodgers, Will Levis, McCarthy, Drake Mays, Geno Smith.
I take Stafford, even Aaron Rodgers, who we were talking up. I'd take him over Aaron Rodgers. I would. So
yep.
Yeah. The more I'm talking myself into it. At 15, sure. I was thinking more mid round, but yeah, that's 5th round. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy who's going to put up 4,000 some odd yards, and who knows if you'll have some if you get bonuses. I mean, that's a guy for throwing it deep. 50-yard bonus for pass and catch. Hey, I'll take it.
He comes with commission. He's the only quarterback. All right. Maybe you should keep the graphic up. Maybe you shouldn't. I don't know what's coming. We're halfway done. Jay, give them the spiel. Where are we at with the show here?
Well, we did our first half. We gave the probably the better teams out of this division. I mean, the second half is, I don't know if it's going to be good, bad, in the middle. I mean, trashy, dumpy, or whatever you call it. Maybe a dumpster fire. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel in the second half of this, preview. So, I mean, we gave you some good, Cooper Cups. We gave you some, Pukas, some guys that'll take up there. Ayukin, Samuels, maybe some flyers and some running backs, some, hey, who knows? But hey, if you guys are still watching, give us a like, give us a subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to, check us out on Spotify, Apple, for all your audio content as well. But yeah, if you can give us a like. Well, if you're watching right now, just give us a like. Just take 30 seconds. If you're like, hey, hell, write something in X.
Take a little bit of your time. You know how much time we spend prepping for this? Huh? You could spend 10 seconds. Just like it. If you like it even more than, you know what? If you like it, that's fine. Just like, if you love it, go subscribe. It's a little more of a commitment to us when you subscribe. We appreciate it. So, take the next step. Take the next step to be a motivational.
Join the dark side.
I'm Tony fucking Robbins here. I should be a motivational.
Join the dark side. Come over to the darks.
See that Darth Vader fucking sound bit you had.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
But yeah, I mean, if you like Eli's rationals or outside looks, I mean, hell, perspective on things. just for that in general, I mean, just Eli's mad takes, what's more entertaining than that?
Yep. It's coming to that. And while he pulls that up, I think there's a Cardinal graphic. There it is. Yep. 2 different shades of red. That's fine. That's fine by me. because the Cardinals they got the color red. They got the market cornered on that. They also have the market cornered on young studs because they got 3 of them. 2 of them we're going to see a bunch of this year. I'm gonna kick it off right. This might be a little bit of a hot take, but like I said, the teams that and this might be a surprise team. Every year there's a surprise team. There's a team that kind of comes out of nowhere and competes for a playoff spot or does stuff they weren't expected to do. Maybe they're. I haven't seen the Vegas line on the Cardinals, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won 7 or 8 games and kind of snuck up on some people. Absolutely. Maybe and if things go right, and Michael Wilson, he's second-year guy, he develops a little bit more, and Trey McBride takes that next step and becomes like up there with Laporta and Kelsey and those kind of guys. Kyler stays healthy. I mean, we could be looking at a playoff team, like a surprise playoff team, absolutely. But I think they're going to be better in Seattle. So I like some of their fantasy guys better. So I put the Cardinals after the Rams and 49ers here. But hot take, Trey McBride, number 1. He's coming off the board, second tight end off the board now. So he's up a little bit. It was Kelsey at 2, because I remember we did Kelsey last week. Kelsey was at 2, and now Trey McBride's at 2. And I think everybody's in love with the set, kind of like Jordan Love. How Jordan Love was pretty much like the top fantasy quarterback the second half of last year, or one of them. Trey McBride was the tight end equivalent of that. Like Trey McBride, every second half of last year was in the top 5 in fantasy tight ends like every week. I mean, he didn't miss. It was like clockwork. You started him, you were getting yards, you were getting catches and yards. I'd like some more. The thing with him is I'd like some more touchdowns. If he gets the touchdowns up, he'll be number 1. He'll pass Laporta. He'll pass Kelsey. He'll pass all these guys. What do you think about Trey McBride?
Yeah, I kind of agree more with you. Trey McBride is actually like the second guy coming off the board, and I think it all varies on preferences too. I mean, especially with the Cardinals here, at the end, I know we did like a little tight end thing. We talked about the tight ends a little bit, the Porta and them. I had a graphic for them. I think back, when we did some of this stuff earlier in the season. But hey, with the options that there's kind of there, especially with the wide receiver room, there is a very, very well possible that he could actually see more of the targets. Maybe if you look at what he had last year in targets, I mean, he had almost like over 100 some odd targets, compared to Holly Brown and not DJ Moore, Ronald Mc.
Ronald McDonald.
That's what I'm just gonna say. Totally botched that, but whatever. But yeah,
catching cheeseburgers from Grimace and the Hamburglar.
Yeah, there we go. I was actually gonna see here quick if I had that up here, but I might have deleted it off. Yep, I don't have it up here. I was gonna see if I had that slide real quick because I know we did a comparison with all the the tight ends and stuff like that, but I do not have that. But yeah, I think Trey McBride's not a bad option, especially with this room that's kind of going on. Harrison will draw some interest. He'd break in, some other guys too in there as well. Yeah, I know. We'll kind of discuss that here.
It's crazy. Because they were talking, maybe I think this time last year, new coach, maybe trading Kyler. If Kyler happy, I mean, there was a bunch of uncertainty with this franchise. I mean, they didn't have Trey McBride. He had just been a rookie in 2022, and like he hadn't emerged yet. And Marv Jr. wasn't there yet. Obviously, basically it was James Conner and some backup quarterback and some mediocre receivers. I was Hollywood Brown. He might do better with the Chiefs, but I was never a Hollywood Brown fan. Rondale Moore, like we talked about him. Just a lot of. So the franchise is looking up, especially on the skill position here. I mean, they are much improved all around, and it's amazing what having a healthy, motivated Kyler will do. Kyler is the 8th quarterback coming off the board right now. Not sure which round. My guess maybe third round, something like that.
For who?
Kyler Murray.
Oh yeah, I think he's probably 3rd round ish. Let me take a look here. Yeah, I think he's later. I think I've seen that. I had that written down. I think he's a little bit later in drafts. Not fourth round for sure. I don't think he's. I don't think
Oh,
that's.
yeah, I mean,
Second round our best ball. Second round.
Okay.
Sorry, I was actually looking up some our
I was just
draft
yeah.
class.
I'm glad you looked that up. I was just guessing, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say fourth round. That's highway robbery if you're getting him that. But no, Tyler being healthy end of last year, and his fan. He obviously he was the number 27 fantasy quarterback last year because he was hurt half the year. I think he missed 9 games, which is still impressive. I mean, when he was in there, he looked like the old Kyler. So, throw in Trey McBride, throw in Marv Jr. Marv Jr. is projected to have one. That's just projections, but he's projected to have one of the best rookie seasons of probably the last decade. I mean, they're projecting him to have, I think, 88 receptions, somewhere along those lines, 85 to 90, somewhere in that range. Maybe 1150 for yards to 1200, somewhere in there. 8 touchdowns. I mean, that's a monster rookie year. I mean, that's the anti Quentin Johnston. Okay, Marv Jr. isn't going to be a first round bust here. I mean, throw in Marv, and they basically scrapped the receiving room. They got rid of, like I said, Hollywood Brown. Nope, you ain't good enough. Goodbye. Rondale, get out of here. Go to Atlanta. Go have fun. Circle jerking with Kirk Cousins and the other.
Yeah.
So it's I think this is going to be a two guy show, kind of like Dallas almost. You have some. You have Brandon Cooks and you have a few auxiliary guys, but mainly the offense now is Jake Ferguson, Dak, and obviously CeeDee Lamb. Here it's Trey McBride, Kyler, and Marv Jr. And is the way I see it going. I know these are younger, Marv Jr. rookie, Trey McBride in his 3rd year, but what do you think about this being a new trio?
Yeah, it's kind of perks my interest a little bit, just because you got Marvin Harrison, who probably could, as most would say, could be like the next CeeDee Lamb, just for Kyler, and then toss in little toss in little toss in some McBride, and then all they need is that one great Emmitt Smith running back. Can Trey Benson be that guy to kind of like take over Connor? But I mean, Connor's getting up there in age, and so if that could be the 3-headed monster, hell, why not? I mean, that could be the cause here, and Kyler could have a nice trio of guys, and then maybe toss in a little sprinkle in a little, Michael Wilson up in there for a nice number 2, like Brandon Cooks or a Jalen Tolbert kind of fit. Hey.
The beginning, Michael Wilson's only a 2nd-year guy. I mean, if people are giving, I mean, they've given up on Quentin Johnston, but there's been some other 2nd-year guys that have popped. That first year, especially a 3rd-round pick, not that much was expected of Michael Wilson. But the first part of last year, when he was playing with that bum, I think it was Clayton Tune, and I think there was maybe it was Josh Dobbs. I forget who. They had some trash in there when Kyler was out. But I mean, Michael Wilson was playing pretty damn good. There were some really good fantasy weeks early part of 2023. I remember he was like, we were talking about him on the waivers, like week 2 or 3, or I remember that. So Michael Wilson, especially when he doesn't have the burden of, okay, dude, we don't need you to be a number 1. You can be a low end number 2, maybe number 3, because eventually they're going to get another guy in there. They're going to, Kyler, Marv Jr., Trey McBride, probably need one more year, maybe an offseason. Maybe they get T. Higgins. Maybe there's a last. I don't think they trade Brandon Ayuk within the division, but you get a guy like T. Higgins in there to go with Marv Jr. Then you've got a legit 2, and then Michael Wilson can fall back to a 3 or 4. On a better team. I mean, that'd be perfect. But I like Michael Wilson. I did. I liked what I saw last year, and
yeah, he was kind of slowly coming on toward the end of the year a little bit. Since they didn't really have a good number 1 there, he was kind of getting into that role a little bit. Kind of a little splash and dash, you can kind of say it that way. But we were just talking about these tight ends real quick too. I mean, look at the draft class from 2022 and the draft class from 2023. Look how many of them are pretty much tight end ones that that were Kate Oddens. I think he's still down there with the Buccaneers. Jelani Woods. I mean, he's here and there. I mean, Isaiah Likely. I mean, we talked about him earlier this year. He's pretty much both. He could be a home run hit. Yeah, he could be a home run a home run hitter. Drake Dulcich.
Dolce,
I mean,
that's Pete's boy.
yeah, we talked about him. He thought he was going to have a rebound season this year. I mean, hard saying. They talked about that, but I mean, if we just kind of take a look at, Chig.
I mean, yeah, Chig. He's he's not great, but I mean, he's a starting tight end in the NFL for the Titans. I mean, that's something to be said about that. Connor Hayward. I think he's got a few. He's got a little bit of action with the Steelers, I think. Yeah. So I mean, that's not a terrible tight end draft class, especially with a few of the guys at the top. Cade Otton's a starter, so Cade Otton's a starter. Isaiah Likely should be a starter. Jake Ferguson, we know how good Jake Ferguson is. Chig starter. You got some names in there. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Jelani Woods is technically probably the starter with the Colts. So I mean, you've got a bunch of starters there that came out of that tight end class from a couple years ago. And then last year, I mean, you look over here, and some of these guys haven't even fully developed yet.
Like Kincaid. I mean, he more like. I mean, last year he was kind of tight end 1, tight end 2. This year he'd probably more likely be the tight end 1 for sure. Laporta.
Absolutely.
I mean, Laporta is all in a room all by himself. Tucker Kraft and Musgrave are pretty much a two-headed monster with the Packers. Mayer, we loved him last year, but now Brock Bowers is in the way. So I mean, if you just think about it, maybe we have a new freshness of guys coming in at tight end where it's all like a dumpster fire towards the bottom of our draft. There's some good guys in there, but I mean, we have to think about a lot of these guys that used to be the guys like Kittle and freaking, I mean, Kelsey's still kind of up there, but he's getting old. But it's time where it's time to reset. Fresh faces. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give a quick look on that because we were talking about tight ends. I don't remember. Oh yeah, it was his average. Those were where they were getting at last year, where they were getting drafted at average wise, from ADP. And yeah, fantasy points. Yeah, I think they're pretty. Laporta, I think he had 241 fantasy points. Kincaid, pretty much 11th last year. Tucker, Musgrave, at the bottom of the bottle there. Mayer, 35th out of that draft class. Shoemaker, he's kind of here and there. But yeah, it kind of gives you an idea of how this draft class is working and and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up since we kind of got a little off target there when we were talking about McBride and all those other
just
tight ends.
It's Jay. It's great to see where the young guys that have come in the last couple of years. It's great to see where Trey stacks up because these are the future. I mean, Laporta, Jake Ferguson, Trey McBride. Dalton Kincaid. I mean, you're talking about the Fab Four there. I mean, that's the future of the tight end position. And so yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, we do that on occasion. It's our show. We do it how we want. We want to throw up a random fun fact of the day. We're gonna do it. I wanted to put up this Trey Benson graphic, so I did. And Jay's got one over here to kind of complement that. I'll just go over him real quick, see if you have any thoughts on him. But they've been high on him so far. I mean, the Cardinals are, and fantasy owners as well. Pretty. He's been pretty steady. I think Jonathan Brooks and Blake Corum will be better, just in my opinion. But I have his comp as Zamir White, and Zamir White, we haven't even seen his full ceiling yet.
Yeah, and I think we talked about him too, or we were kind of like we were kind of on the bubble with him because we don't know what his potential is. If it's because he might be a bust too.
Right. He could very well be a bust, but at least he'll get the opportunity to be a feature guy this year. Like Zamir White will be the feature running back with the Raiders. You're kind of like a Tony Pollard. It's like sink or swim. Tony Pollard, obviously, he did okay, but he didn't really answer the bell. Like he was, it's like, okay, dude, you're not elite. You're not high end. You were a nice complimentary guy to Zeke, and you kind of got exposed last year as being a feature guy. So we'll see what Zamir White does if he's exposed. He's still a younger guy too, but that was the closest, based on style of play, size, 40 time, stuff like that, who he reminded me of. And I'm like, yeah, it's Zamir White. And I think they'll have similar trajectories. I don't think Trey Benson's going to be a world beater. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 running back or anything like that, but I mean, I think Zamir White could be a top 15 this year for sure. Like Zamir White could be kind of in that where Kenneth Walker's at. Maybe a shade below Rashad White, guys like that. So that's where Zamir could potentially fall in, and Trey Benson too if he gets the full-time gig, because he will. I mean, look at James Conner. James Conner's old as dirt. Okay, it might as well call him John Connor, because I think James Conner was in the first Terminator. That's how old he is. So, but he's still projected to be the feature guy. But Trey Benson, to me, when you have when the rush touches are that close, kind of like with Tajay Spears with the Titans, where it could be a breakout guy where he's not that much below Tony Pollard for feature touches. Volume equals fantasy success. Yeah, well, yeah, of course, Donovan. But to finish on my point on Trey Benson here, reminds me of Zamir White. I think like I said, we haven't seen a full sample size of Zamir White yet, but that's who he reminds me of. And I wouldn't be surprised if Trey Benson was drafted to basically replace James Conner and be the feature guy next year. This year, he might be in a Tajay Spears kind of role, kind of be a complimentary guy, just kind of see what he can do. He's got good. He didn't catch a lot of passes in college, but he's got good hands. I'd say the only thing is he had a major knee injury in 2020 when he was a freshman at Oregon. So that maybe scared a few teams, but he's been healthy pretty much since then, and he needs to work on his pass blocking. But I mean, which one of these running backs doesn't? I mean, how many young guys have we talked about? Oh, he needs to work on pass blocking. He needs to work on pass blocking. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Like most of these young guys. But I mean, he's got the prototypical NFL skill set, prototypical size, third round, so good value there. He, third round guy from Florida State.
Benson is.
I mean, they were okay. I mean, he did have 14 touchdowns 15 total if you include the receiving touchdown. So I mean, he had some decent fantasy value. I mean, there were obviously some running backs that, Blake Corum, 27 rushing touchdowns, and some of these other guys we've talked about that just blew him out of the water. But he's averaging between the 2 years, he's averaging about 6 yards a carry, which isn't bad at all. Last year he showed he could catch passes, which NFL, and that's a requirement in the NFL that you're able to catch passes out of the backfield. So he got 20 receptions last year. Over 900 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns. 2022 had almost 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Trey Benson?
Well, I mean, Trey Benson is actually coming off in the kind of in your double digits, tongue twister there. He's kind of coming after
good value.
Yeah. So who's going before him? Jalen Warren, Chubbs, Mustard, Zach Moss, Jalen Williams, Brian Robinson is going off before him. Coming out after him, Gerald Ford, Singletary, Eckler, and then kind of getting the 12th round. Elliott, Corum, Spears, Edwards, Chuba. So I mean, he's kind of
that's where he should. No, his rookie year, Jay. That's where he should be. I think he's slotted right where he should be. Right sandwiched in with a lot of those kind of guys, either guys on kind of the back end. They're like Austin Eckler that are kind of falling off a cliff. Guys that are. I don't think are feature guys, but kind of, like Jerome Ford, kind of in that mix. Jalen Warren, he's not a feature guy to me, but, nice guy. He collects some stats and, catches passes, gets you a little rushing. So he's right. Yeah. At least for his rookie year, because he's unproven. He hasn't proven anything. And you like Jonathan Brooks? You damn right. Because Carolina, okay, Arizona's got some other pieces here, and they do have a proven starting running back. James Conner's been doing this a long time. He was solid with the Steelers. He's been solid with Arizona. Guy had, I think, 15 touchdowns a couple years ago. So yeah, James Conner's been a really good running back for a long time. So they got
he has.
So Trey Benson, compliment. Yeah, I think he's slotted right where he should be with kind of some of those other. Higher end complimentary guys like Jalen Warren, Jerome Ford, guys like that.
Yep, I think Michael Carter, you can kind of slap into the RB3 just in case. I think he's a little bit better than Imari.
DeMercado would be lucky to make the team. Yeah, I'm not a DeMercado guy.
That's my thoughts on that, because I mean he was I think he was Carter was like second, I think. I'm not sure.
And he's kind of. I was gonna say, Jay, I think Carter is kind of grooming Benson, in the offseason too. I think he's so. I mean, to provide some veteran leadership or to kind of show your young stud back the ropes. Yeah. Michael Carter. Michael Carter might have some. And there might be something there, just because James Conner's old, right? So if he goes down and Benson's not fully ready, I mean, Michael Carter, remember, people forget, like, was it 2021 he was the feature back with the Jets?
Yeah,
So
pretty close, yeah.
So he's been in feature roles before, so he knows what he's doing. He's an proven NFL running back. And his value's never been lower. I mean, basically they're kicking him to the curb. So that's where you, as a fantasy owner, you come along, pick up the quarter, put it in your pocket, walk along. Yeah, that's what I think of Michael Carter. He's the quarter you pick up, and then maybe you spend it, maybe you don't, maybe it's nice to have, though. Nice to have in your back pocket.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, this backfield, I think, is pretty well. It's tasty. I mean, it's got some good pieces here. James Conner is the guy. I mean, he's kind of, if he does get hurt, Trey Benson will be that guy to come in and take. He's got the first opportunity to, come in and take that RB1 role. Kind of splash in some Michael Carter there too as well. You can get pretty much, like I said, you can get Benson in the double digits. The other quick thing too is, we're talking about this, not that one. The wide
What? I was just double checking my phone here. I was seeing what the depth charts were, and then I'm like, I knew something was off. I had my spidey senses were tingling, and then I see Zay Jones. Why would you pick him up? I trashed him. We had off-season. We had like an off-season clip or whatever. Like Jay took the week off. I was doing a one-man stand. I basically demolished Zay Jones as a complete bust. I don't know why he's projected for almost 40 catches, 450 yards, 6 touchdowns. Are you crazy? This man shouldn't be. This man will be lucky to make an NFL roster.
My thoughts here.
Wish I could just take the marker and just.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at this, Marvin Harrison comes in, pretty much true number 1 wide receiver right away. Yeah. Wilson. On the other hand, for the guy being wide receiver,
he's got some stuff we like though. He's got some stuff we like. He's not.
I got him in
anything, but.
I got him in my dynasty. I got some shares of him. So I actually slapped him in my taxi squad for the. So I mean, I kind of like, I'll put him in, just in case. I wanted to see what happens. So maybe if he, this is my last year to kind of keep him. I kind of played him a little bit last year, but my last year to kind of keep him in my taxi. So I'm going to probably either try to sell him if he does pop, or just keep my shares of him. But I am hoping maybe if he pops, maybe I can get maybe I'll just if somebody likes Michael Wilson, I'll probably maybe get rid of him and try to get something else in this upcoming the upcoming draft, more likely. So, but Greg Dortch he's kind of your third wide receiver 3, he's kind of like a feeling guy here and there, splashy a little bit, but it's. And that's why there's some good pieces here, not so many good pieces here, just like most every other team. But Harrison and Wilson are your go-to guys. Dortch is more your deeper play guy. I don't like Zay Jones myself, but I mean that's just Dortch is more your deeper play guy. And in my opinion, great. The thing is that Dortch kind of plays more in the in the slot. So I think
he'll have a role. He's not Jay. They're not doubling up anything. I mean, Wilson's outside guy. I think Marv Jr. can do a little bit of everything, but he's probably be more of an outside guy. So Dortch can find himself a nice little niche being the 3 and being the slot guy. Zay Jones has no niche. He's trash. But Dortch is interesting. Dortch is
garbage goober. Get out here and eat this garbage.
Dortch had a few weeks where he was interesting. So to me, Dortch is worth kicking the tires on, especially with a full, hopefully, fingers crossed, fully healthy Kyler Murray.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got the receiver room banged out, the running backs banged out. I mean, James Conner, he's the same. I keep drafting him until the wheels fall off. Keep driving that old truck till the wheels come off. Keep, just like I said about George Kittle. Keep drafting him to the wheels come off. Keep drafting James Conner and until the wheels come off. So we got Kyler there. Yep. I think the passing touchdowns are a little low for Kyler. I'll be honest. I think Fantasy Pros was at like 22 and Sleepers at 21. I think Kyler could get up to 25, and he's going to give you the rushing. You know you're going to get 5 or at least 5 or 6 rush. So what do you think about maybe a 30 total touchdown? Maybe between passing yards and rushing yards, about 4,300. So like 4,300 total yards, 30 touchdowns for Kyler. Where does that kind of stick him?
I mean, he's going off in the 3rd round in most drafts. So I mean, he's a dual threat guy. I mean, kind of similar to Lamar. I mean, he kind of gives you that rushing upside a little bit. Yeah,
he's cheaper than Lamar.
And maybe he's got better weapons than Lamar too. That's just my personal preference. He's got better weapons than Lamar. So yeah.
I dare argue that people are going to say it's blasphemy. They're going to come after our heads. I don't give a damn. I mean, said it. That Kyler Murray, based on his weapons, has got better value than Lamar Jackson. You damn right.
I mean, hell, Marvin Harrison over Zay Flowers. Yep, ching ching.
Absolutely. I like Jay. I like me some Zay Flowers, but he ain't Marv Jr.
Yeah. That bum freaking Rashad Bateman over Michael Wilson. I'll take
out of here. I'll take Michael Wilson. Rashad Bateman's bust. I don't know why they gave him more. They gave him another contract. I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like they're wasting a tight end on their bench that should be a starter. They should trade Mark Andrews or trade Likely or do something. The
wide receiver 3. You got Dortch and you got Walker. So I mean that's kind of it. And then both of the tight ends, they're both comparable. So it's
and at this stage, because he's got less injuries and he's younger, I'll take Trey McBride over Mark Andrews. Damn right. So yeah, that's the hot take. If you don't have to spend as much on Kyler as you do Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, about right.
Saving you guys saving you some money, possibly saving you a draft draft round or 2. Like we're helping you out here. Tight end room. Tip Ryman, the rookie. I mean, it's going to be a Trey McBride circus. I mean, this is Trey McBride all day long. Yeah. Look at him. I mean, and I suspect more. I think more. I think they're undervaluing Kyler, and they're undervaluing Trey McBride in terms of their projections. I think both those guys could definitely go over what Fantasy Pros and Sleeper has them projected for. So you might be getting some great value with the 2 of those. And I know it's hard to say because McBride's going second. Yeah, but he might be even better. He's got that potential.
And who knows? I mean, freaking McBride. I mean, who knows? I mean, who? It all depends on who you're drafting with. Who knows? Yep. Trey McBride could end up maybe in the 3rd round too. I mean, if you're playing with people that don't know what they're doing. Hell, Trey McBride might end up going in the 3rd round too, So, but most average is 2nd. But who knows? He could end up slipping to the 3rd. Some people are like, oh, Trey McBride slipped to the 3rd round. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yep. Mine. She's mine. That's what's gonna happen with that. But Tip Ryman, just it's kind of like a little rookie shout out. He's kind of the next in line of the Iowa guy. I mean, we're looking at an Iowa guy right there, George Kittle. We're Sam Laporta, like 2 of the top 6 fantasy tight ends in the league are Iowa guys. TJ Hawkinson, another guy. He's probably top. Yeah, 3 of the top, probably 8.
Yeah, didn't Noah Fant come? Didn't Noah Fant? No, he was. I thought he was. Iowa guy.
It's a factory. Iowa is a factory for tight ends. It just is. And so Tip Ryman, don't sleep on him, is because these Iowa guys don't miss. I mean, Carmelo Hayes in WWE, he don't miss, and Iowa tight ends don't miss. So Tip Ryman, keep an eye on him. We're not getting crazy here. This is Trey McBride's room, but Ryman is worth, kind of keep it in the back of your head, as an Iowa guy, out of respect for that program and what they produce for sure.
Yeah, that's about right.
Is it time to Oh, and Desmond Ridder is our favorite guy. Desmond Ridder is the backup to Kyler. So Kyler does go down. They're fucked. They are fucked. So Kyler, fingers crossed, please stay healthy. Don't subject the world to any more Desmond Ridder. Had enough. Yeah,
that's about right. I had enough of that Desmond Ridder trash anyways too myself. But
and you know what? They're not the worst fourth place that I've gone through. I mean, they're not we've talked about the Giants, the Patriots. Patriots are just fun. They have guys holding out. I think Judon, like he's pulling some weird shit at practice. They were saying like the Patriots are a fucking mess, and Giants, obviously Panthers. They're getting a little bit.
Did you see these reports that Anthony Richardson was actually playing 10 times better than Drake Mays? That not Anthony Richardson, freaking I just botched. I didn't.
Joe Milton.
Yeah, Joe Milton. Damn it, you Donovan! You put Anthony Richardson in the comments.
Jamie called that shit. Jamie called. He said it. He said this could be, like a Kirk Cousins, RG3. There's been some other situations where the lower round guy is drafted the same year and he ends up taking the higher guy's job. I wouldn't count out Joe Milton quite yet. Joe Milton was good at Tennessee, and we both think, and this is his guy. I mean, Jamie bleeds Carolina blue. I mean, he loves the Tar Heels. We both think that Drake May is going to be a bust and stay the hell away from him. So that we don't say that shit lightly. So there's this little Patriot plug there. But we're talking about a lot of bad teams that we've talked about, and this is the final team that we're doing of 32 of 32. So I've had worse fourth place teams. Seattle's got a few guys here I like. So I'm not going to shit on this. NFC West could be good. This will probably be the last place team, but there have been much worse. This is debatable, as most of the mediocre to bad teams are. This is. You could kind of, like we were saying with Pete last week, you can paint the picture however you want. I mean, if you want to put Geno at 3, if you want, Donovan chiming in again, would it be worth keeping Jalen Hurts and AR5 in a 6-man keeper 12-team league? Both of them together? No, because AR5 is going to be, from all reports, he's healthy, he's firing on all cylinders. You don't need both those guys. They both do the same thing. And AR5 is younger, cheaper.
Who's playing in a 6-man keeper league?
Hey, Jay, if it's me, I'm trading Jalen Hurts. So I think Jalen Hurts is a little overrated. So I'm moving off Jalen Hurts because he's still got the cachet, name value. What about you?
I'd take I've actually took some shares of Richardson, so I'm going to take my shot on Anthony Richardson this season.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a small sample size of what he can do, and I think he's going to bring something to the yard. So let's just be wary. I think he's going to impress some people. Like, oh shit, what just happened? I'm like, well, yeah, AR5 just happened. That's what.
Yeah. The storm known as AR5 just hit the ground. But back to the Seahawks here. And AJ Barner up there, the rookie. Michigan makes some. They got some studs too. Let's be honest. The court. We saw J.J. McCarthy taking the first round. Blake Corum, Roman Wilson. So I mean, we saw some Michigan guys. Skill position guys get drafted pretty high. AJ Barner and Seattle. Just a side note, because we don't have any tight ends listed because their tight end room is kind of a joke. Yeah, who's the honorable mention? Noah Fant. I mean, AJ Barner could be a like, no pun intended, could be a sleeper. Like AJ, I wouldn't count out AJ Barner quite yet. From maybe coming up and getting some targets as a tight end. Just
maybe more of a blocking tight end.
I'm not a Noah Fant guy. Never have been. I don't
blocking
get
tight end. Maybe more likely, but I could say it with
you're one maybe, but maybe it morphs into something more. So, I mean, AJ Barner might be worth kicking the tires on. Just keep it another guy to keep in the back of your mind. Kind of like Tip Ryman from Arizona. Just keep in the back of your mind. Because I wouldn't touch any of the, like Jay was talking about with the Rams, he wouldn't touch any of the tight ends there. I wouldn't touch any of these Seahawk tight ends. In terms of like major value. AJ Barner might be worth, dynasty, maybe a taxi squad guy, but I like.
and
I did. I liked him in Michigan. I mean, obviously, we saw a bunch of him last year. So
I guess if it comes to more of a deeper league, I mean, we'll have to probably, if you're skimming out in tight ends, I mean, no fan, and these guys will probably have to be your tight end guys that you're probably going to be like, oh my god. But those are your options. If you don't draft someone good, someone high in in a deeper league, you're going to be screwed.
You must be in a bad spot. I mean, because we were talking about that with Pete last week. There's a legit 20 to 25 really good tight end, or good to really good to great tight ends. I mean, you can find somebody to be your starting tight end in fantasy. Come on now. Even Hunter Henry, who's further down the list. I wouldn't, if I'm stuck with Hunter Henry, okay. I mean, he had some good games with the Patriots last year. Like, if you end up with Noah Fant, I mean, you're smoking something. That is fantasy negligence to go into a year with Noah Fant as your starting tight end, or even a backup. I don't even know if I'd go that far. Noah Fant is garbage. He just is.
Yeah.
But let's get to this top 5 here. Kind of mix and match here. And just for time's sake, we'll kind of combine some stuff here. I put Ken Walker at number 1. That could be debatable. You could put DK there. Maybe you're young. Maybe you're high on the young guy JSN. Maybe you're like, okay, he's gonna break through the glass ceiling this year, and he his targets are gonna go up. Lockett's getting older. DK's really good, but he's not great. So I mean, maybe JSN could ascend in this offense, and it's there's a lot of variables here. There's a lot of variables here.
Is there though? I mean that's the key though. I mean that's, if you look at
they're kind of all the same. Jay, they're kind of all the same. If you really like, even like this is another unique team where I don't know what you think, but you could argue any of these 5 guys you could move, you could shift around. I mean, because Walker's good, he's not great. DK is really good, not great. Tyler Lockett has his moments, had 122 targets last year, so he was targeted quite a bit, but with his age and, he's inconsistent. He'll have some big weeks, and then he'll have weeks where he doesn't show up. JSN was pretty consistent, but, I mean, second-year guy, I mean, his target share would really have to go up for him to have some serious value. I mean, he kind of had a good rookie year, but not great or anything. And then, Gino was if you'd believe it, I think there was at least 1 or 2 weeks last year. I know one for sure where he was the number 1 fantasy quarterback that week. So I mean, Gino can sling it a little bit. So I think people sleep on Gino. So I mean, I don't know. What do you think about these top 5? I mean, if you'd move some stuff around, or if you have any, going to go in depth a little more, but.
I don't know. It's hard saying because you got Lockett.
I know you love the graphic. If there's nothing else, I picked up. I made sure I put the old Seahawk logo in here because I know you love that.
Oh yeah, I mean I love anything retro, dude. I mean that's awesome. I mean Jason, we haven't really. I don't think we really seen his ceiling yet. I mean, and that's what it's going to come down to. If Jason can actually outbeat Lockett this year,
maybe DK too.
Well, DK, I think DK is still going to be their number 1 guy. DK is going to still be the guy coming off the board, and he actually was 5th round guy. And if you think about it, Lockett and JSN, these guys are almost at your end of your draft. JSN 11th round, Lockett 12th round. So these 2 guys are coming later on in your guys' draft. DK is going to be up there. There is for the unknown of which guy could be. I mean, is it worthwhile to maybe take your shot on JSN? Hopefully he can actually be, a better, second-year player this year. Maybe actually boost up his value a little bit more in, especially dynasty or even, redraft. And probably, more than likely, but 10 man probably not. 12 more than likely, yes. Deep leagues for sure. I'd probably take my shot on JSN. Lockett, I know he's getting old. I mean, like he had almost 130 some odd targets. I mean, for a little slot guy getting that many, I mean, they're gonna have to reboot a little bit. This is where JSN has to actually come in and actually see JSN should see these like 130 targets. Lockett maybe where JSN is at 80 some odd targets. So I think these need to flip flop a little bit. Maybe put JSN 3, Lockett 4.
I did. I thought about that, and I looked back at the game log from Lockett, and I was like, there were some weeks there where you're like, damn, okay, he still got it. Like to me it was like, I mean, you could put, they're like a wash to me. Lockett and there's 1 round difference and few projections difference, but to me they're about equal at this point.
Yeah,
Hopefully
it's just
can pass.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 29 less targets last year too. I mean, he had 93 to Lockett's 122. So you think that would kind of get more even this year. DK, I'm not in love with him as I don't think he's great. I really don't. He leaves a lot to be desired. He's not a scrub by any means. I mean, DK Metcalf's been a consistent 1,000-yard receiver. It's just to me, he has a ceiling. He's about an 1,100-yard guy. What did he have last year? Yeah, 11, 14, 8 touchdowns. That's about his ceiling. I mean, he's and I mean, you can and guys, and I don't know. I just think he's overrated. I don't know what else to say. I mean, he's productive, but he should be more. The guy's freakish speed, freakish size. He should be like a modern TO, and he's not. He's just not. And he obviously for this team, he's number 2. But a lot of other teams, I'd have him way down the list. 4 or 5. Like, I'm not a big DK Metcalf guy. And so like when you have a young lion like JSN who's got the world in front of him, and sky's the limit, I wouldn't be shocked. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked if at the end of the year he leads the team in targets, receptions, a couple different categories. I wouldn't be shocked or if DK Metcalf is traded, because this might just blow up, dude. I mean, with the new coach and Geno maybe gets benched for, if you can believe it, Sam Howell. I mean, Sam Howell's the backup.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
Sam Howell was a lot of those, much of the year before he got benched was in like the top 10 in quarterback fantasy points. Like Sam Howell he was slinging it to the other team sometimes, but Sam Howell was slinging it. And so
I don't know. This too much reads into like all these training camp stuff. Oh, Sam Howell was tossing. He's an inconsistent passer. Yada yada yada.
He's always been inconsistent, but the guy can sling it though a little bit.
Well, yeah, he can sling it, but I mean, like hell. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's a good backup if anything does happen to Geno Smith. I mean, he's got the weapons there that probably a little bit better than what he had at with Washington. But a decent backfield, great guys to actually toss the ball to. So I mean, he's got a lot of two guys pretty much playing in slot. One tall guy, one guy on the outside. The tight end room kind of sucks, but I mean, overall, I mean, he's probably fit for a nice system that he's got here for a backup, anyways.
So we talked about the receivers here. I wouldn't go anything below Jake Bobo, and Jake Bobo's even like not that impressive. It's a 3-man show. I mean,
pretty much.
It's going to be week to week. It's going 1 week it'll be, if Lockett, if none of these guys are traded, I think that this is going to blow up at some point. And this team, like I said, it's one of these three, especially one of those two, Lockett or DK is getting traded, I think, before the deadline. So, and that'll help JSN too. But I don't think Bobo. I think Bobo's about where he's going to be. Even if they did move one of these guys, I don't think Bobo's moving up the depth chart any.
The Seahawks should have drafted some wide receivers.
They should have. They should have picked another guy. That was a receiver-rich draft. They should have picked another guy. They should, and they kind of shit the bed on that. Honestly, you could have even had a guy like Bub Means in the 5th round. You know what I mean? You could. There's a bunch of different options, bunch of different rounds. They had bodies left and right for a receiver, and they kind of stayed pat. And now you're stuck with, maybe you may be stuck with Jake Bobo being your number 3 receiver at some point. Yikes.
Yeah, it's very, very damn close. Yeah, it very well could happen too. I mean, if one of these guys end up getting traded, because I don't know if they re-signed DK or not. I think Lockett is on his last year for his contract this year, I believe. So it's very possible that JSN will be the wide receiver 2 in this pack.
Yeah, very, very, very soon. LaVisca Chenault, D. Eskridge, a bunch of other random people. Yeah, no.
Schultz was Saviska was a Jaguar or something like that.
Yeah, Jag, and he's number 5, number 6 receiver. He's always in that like number 5, 6 range with every team every year. It's ick.
Yeah.
The tight end room we'll just kind of glance over quick as a joke. Noah Fant is right now number 1. Barrow Brown. I remember wasn't he with the Texans a couple years ago? He's ick. So AJ Barner, 4th round pick. That's keep an eye out. I'm not. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to have any value in this system. Any tight end. I mean, unless you're like a guy that transcends, a Kelsey or a Trey McBride. They don't have anybody like that. So I mean, I wouldn't touch any of their tight ends. But if you had to kick tires on one, AJ Barner, not a bad option. Ick. The rest is ick. Running back. We can talk running backs a little bit too. You got the graphic up.
Yeah. Well,
I'll spend too much screen time on their tight ends. God,
I mean, if you, I think the Seahawks in general, they wasted away this draft this year. I mean, they could have gotten another wide receiver. I mean, looking at Walker, Charbonnet. I mean, McIntosh.
They're decent at a lot of places. Like they're decent at tight end. Walker's decent. Gino, you can get by another year probably of him at quarterback. Like there's stuff to patchwork to get through, but they don't have it. Like the Cardinals are excited, right? Cardinals got McBride and Marv Jr. 49ers, they should be excited every year because they're the 49ers. They're well run. Seahawks traded the country boy, right?
It's when you look at this, when the Seahawks, maybe they're the last team in here. I mean, the Cardinals.
They are. No, they're 4th place team. No,
I mean, the Cardinals.
They're gonna be 5-12 minimum. Like this is not gonna be a good. I mean, they're not gonna be Patriot giant bad, but they're not gonna be any good. They're gonna be like probably worse than the Titans actually.
Hell, if they're gonna be that bad, then they can most definitely get themselves a wide receiver. I
would take a quarterback next year. I'd take another receiver. I mean, I would get a couple 1st round picks. I'd take Carson Beck, Shador, whoever the top quarterback's going to be. Caden Salter, whoever. Take another receiver. This is a rebuild. This is the 4th place team. Cardinals at least have stuff to look up at. I don't know how far the Cardinals can go. Rams and 49ers, I think, are both making the playoffs. Seahawks are going to be the odd man out. Will Dissly is the guy I was thinking of. Yeah, Will Dissly. Donovan, he's a joke. We
trashed. Well,
how this man? That's why I was saying with Parkinson from the Rams. Like, how do you let Noah Fant and Will Dissly beat you out for targets? Like, how is that possible?
Yeah, it is. So yeah.
Is Sharp Jay is he's a Charger now. Yeah. I think we were talking about that earlier. Like, and now the Chargers are, he's like somebody's sloppy seconds. He's
pretty much that's it.
So is Charbonnet. I was surprised at that. Like how this almost might be a 2-headed monster. I mean his rushing attempts are at 36 to Walker's 60. So is this going to be more of a 2-headed attack? And then maybe that takes away from Walker, being a top 15 fantasy back.
Yeah, if you think about it, Charbonnet is actually. I was looking at our best ball. I mean, Charbonnet is not even being drafted. I mean, he might in a lot of these smaller leagues, 10-man leagues. Charbonnet is not even going to be drafted. He'll end up being on the waivers. So I mean, if anything does happen to Walker, and there's no one back in this backfield at all. So Charbonnet is the backup to Walker.
He's not even close to being, and I know he's only a 2nd-year guy. Charbonnet is not anywhere close to being a feature guy. And Walker is good, he's not great, but they're fucked. Walker goes down, they are fucked. Kenny McIntosh, please.
Charbonnet is the last line of defense when it comes to the run game.
They are on a razor's edge. I mean, maybe they think in their heads that, oh, hey, we can win 7-8 games. No, you can't. This is like a 4 or 5 win team. No, in this division, 49ers, that's 2 losses. Rams, that's probably 2 losses. Arizona, at least 1. So that's 5 losses right there in division. I haven't even, because I don't care about the Seahawks. They're irrelevant now. Like I haven't even seen the rest of their schedule, but I could probably easily pick off, easily another 7 losses, easily. Like this team's in trouble, dude. Like they're they are one or DK. You know, I mean, a receiver that got some depth, they're okay. But the problem is like they don't have a top flight quarterback. He's decent, decent, and he's decent fantasy wise, Geno, but you don't have a great quarterback to overcome any of this stuff. I mean, and I think one of these receivers is going to get traded. One of those two, Lockett or DK. So, and probably a lot more Lockett. Lockett makes a lot more sense to me if his last year of his deal. That would make a bunch of sense too, especially to a contender. McIntosh, dude, get Adele. Yeah.
Dude,
but
Charbonnet was actually a top 50 running back last year. I mean, with 400 some odd, only one touchdown. So I mean, a little bit here and there, but I mean, if you think about,
he's a complimentary bet. He's a step above like a rotational guy, but he's a complimentary guy.
Yeah,
he's not he's not ever going to be a guy, but he's also not going to be a shit. Like some of these garbage guys we talk about that are like fourth on. He's not. No, he's not that bad, but he's not great. He's perfect in like a 1-2 two-headed monster kind of backfield.
So we'll kind of sum this up here real quick. We're running over just a little bit here. Then we'll get into our last and final segment to just the overall rankings of just the rookies in general, just in this division only, not anything outside, just in this division. What our thoughts on the rookies are in this division. My overall thoughts. Jason Lockett. More your end. You can get these guys. It's at the end of your drafts.
Great value for those two, by the way. So great value on
DK in the 5th round. He can be consistent and inconsistent at the same time. And then the RB room, pretty much take your Kenneth Walker. And then hopefully, hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Charbonnet is kind of a mix up in there, but that's just. But Walker, 5th or 7th round guy.
And if things go well, remember, I mean, Geno did have 33 touchdowns 2 years ago. So if things go well, you might get a steal with Geno. He's 26 quarterback coming off the board. Average draft position. I'm not sure which round that equals out to, but Geno might be one thing or the other. It's hit and miss with Geno. Either he's gonna get they're gonna be bad and he's gonna get benched for Sam Howell at some point, or he's gonna have a pretty good fantasy year and get to start the whole year. So it'll be one or the other. Because he's a bridge quarterback. Let's just be honest. Geno is not a long-term guy. He's a good bridge quarterback, but he's a bridge quarterback. So you might get some good value with Geno. So I'd be willing to give him a shot if he's coming off that late. I'd be willing to kick the tires on Geno for sure.
Yeah, we'll show the. Oops, here we go. We'll show. I'll pop up the. Yep, and we'll get on to our. So Geno pretty much kind of in the same buckets as I think he's going later. I think I had that down later round. Maybe I didn't. I don't think I did. Nope. I didn't write down anything with.
I guess late. Later.
Yeah, he's super late. Probably 10. I think he's more 10th round guy. I think I'm more than likely.
That makes sense. No, he's worth a fly. We've used that word a couple times in that flyer. He's worth a flyer. I wouldn't lose.
8th round. 8th round.
Yep. That's a little higher than I'd like, but if you're stuck, and you need a quarterback. I mean, like I said, the guy had 33 touchdowns a couple years ago, so he's capable of having a pretty big fantasy year. Absolutely. And then we'll get to the rooks here. Any more on the Seahawks, or can I hit my little gavel? All right, meeting adjourned. Court is out of session. Top 5 rookie. This is the last one, guys. It's over.
Yeah, our divisional previews are done.
Yep. So let's finish this up strong here. Top 5 fantasy rookies. Number 1, I put Marv Jr. Because why the hell not? He's the bee's knees. He's the bell of the ball. He's got everything you want in a number 1 receiver. So size, speed, hands, everything. Marv's going to be a star. And remember, his dad was a Hall of Famer, so he's got good genetics too on top of that. So Marv Jr. 1. You could argue Ricky Pearsall. I like him because I like that I think they have long-term plans for him. Like, I think that he's in a good situation where they got plans for him. Like, if Ayuk wants to pull some shit, they're like, all right, well, we spent a 1st round pick on Ricky, so Ayuk, you want out? You want too much money, or you want out? We'll accommodate that, and we'll put Ricky in the starting lineup. So Ricky might be in a good spot there. I'll just say these 5 quick and get them out of the way, Jay. And if you have any thoughts, or you want to put somebody else in or move somebody down, Blake Corum, I put at 3. I love me some Blake Corum, and I think at some point, either later this year or 2025, he's going to win that feature running back job with the Rams for sure. McVay is going to fall in love with everything he does. Trey Benson, I put it 4. I think Trey Benson's going to be a good back. I think he's going to be a good back that's going to replace James Conner. I don't know about this year. Like, he's another guy that's probably want to sit on for a year. I mean, if you're in a deeper league, take him. Keep shares of him. But the long-term play for his greater value, kind of like Tajay Spears, Zamir White, guys like that. Second, third year, that's where he'll hit the most. And then number 5, this is debatable. I mean, there's some other guys that could have gone in that spot, but I put Jacob Cowing because I love what I saw at Arizona. I love that in there. There's not a ton of great slot receivers. There's not. Right, yeah. So there's not 32 really good slot receivers in the NFL. There just isn't. I mean, there's some great ones. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, there's jobs to be won in the NFL at that position, and I think he fits that. Fits that perfect, and just based on who's in front of him. I know Debo and Ayuk, that seems like a mountain to climb, but Debo's got an injury history, and Brandon Ayuk is fighting for money that they might not be able to pay him. So Debo could get hurt, and Ayuk might be out the door. So that might open up opportunities for Ricky and for Jacob Cowing. So your thoughts at all?
Yeah, I don't think I really have anything really too different at all in here. I kind of like what I see. Harrison Wan for sure. Persall, like you just mentioned, I mean, he has the opportunity to actually come in and actually, he'll see some playing time right away for sure. Most definitely. I mean, if Ayuk wants to play games, ship his ass out, and Ricky is the game. Corum, I love that. I like I love where he fell to, just because he has the opportunity to take over this running back room. I mean, if Kyrene isn't the guy, hell, we'll just take on that Corum shares, and we'll ride that to the sunset. Benson, on the other hand, he's kind of the same place. Connor will be the guy until something changes, and toss in a little Benson right there. Cowing, just so he's kind of just a dart.
To me, he's a wild card.
Yeah, pretty much. Just a shot. Dart in the board, really. Not a bullseye, but maybe maybe up there.
Yeah, not a bullseye, but maybe you get a player down the line. Stash away. Just stash them away. It's not going to hurt anything. You hit on these rookie drafts, and you've got plenty of inventory with injuries, and best ball. You don't worry about that as much, but. I don't think Jacob Cowing value is going to be in best ball. I think it's in dynasty. I think that's where I'd stick him. Like, his top value is in dynasty for sure.
Yeah, I think dynasty as well as too. I think there might be some shares of him out there already, but who knows? He could be on your waiver wires in dynasty leagues too as well. So, but
it's been a great ride, man. Lego my ego.
Yes, it's a shot in the dark. That's for damn sure. Hey, man, appreciate you joining. I didn't know if you just noticed this now, but yeah, we're just actually wrapping up our show. I mean, we appreciate you coming.
We went deep. We went deep.
So I don't know how much you heard, but hey, give us a like and a subscribe. You can go back and watch this show after we get done. A lot of content in there, and yeah.
Be some shorts as usual. Some good talking points. But yeah, I mean, this is one of our favorite times of the year. Covering all 32 teams, 8 divisions.
Yeah.
So what's coming for us on board? We want to keep it, and we plan to add a second show, college, at some point. So that'll be. So we'll basically bounce off the 2 of those. We'll keep the NFL stuff separate. I mean, there'll be times we're going to tie everything in, but Taco Bell. Is that big ticket? Is that Govier?
Yeah, MJ just decided to show up. Yep. What the hell? Okay, damn right, it's going to be a party.
Actually, it is a party time. I need a little party hat somewhere. Got
yes, MJ.
Superstars in here. I do. Praise the Lord.
But yeah, MJ, we will get with you. We'll decide on a time maybe next week or something. We'll get
that'd
that
be
figured out, man.
Oh man, yeah. If you guys haven't, checked out the Palazzo, MJ is phenomenal, and you guys are missing out. We have a bunch of people that have helped us and supported our stuff. Now it's time to go support their stuff as well. If you're new to us or you've been watching us a while, there's a lot of really good podcasts out there, a bunch of good shows. I got you guys. I love listening to football, no matter what team it is. Yeah, we bring it, and we plan on bringing more. We're like I said, we got a college show that's in the works. Definitely need to. I want to be a good man. Football's here, dude. It's coming up. It's coming upon us. I mean, this is a time to celebrate. I mean, it really is. College, starts in less than a month. NFL, a little over a month. It's the bullshit preseason, like LA Knights. Yeah. So I mean, this is a great, some of the best time of the year. If you're a NASCAR guy, you're in the middle of the season. Teams are gearing up to try to get in the playoffs there. MLB, it's kind of the dog days of summer, but fantasy wise, guys are jockeying for positions to get in. It's got a couple months for playoffs there, but whatever your speed is, yeah. I mean, we cover. We're the kind of the football guys, but these other guys, MJ, he covers a lot of baseball. Our friend Donovan covers a lot of baseball. So we've got all the, if you listen to the whole network or the friends that do this stuff, I mean, they'll cover you in all the different sports. You'll get you listen to us, you listen to our network of shows. You'll get all your bases covered, all your fantasy bases. So
yeah.
So it's like finding your favorite indie band before they get big.
Yeah, there you go. That's about right. But with MJ and them, they've actually started getting noticed. I mean, it was a struggle, but I mean, it's all worth it. Finding that niche and bringing the people in to actually make a nice little roundabout family of having all kinds of just different people. Their Discord's always bumping. Baseball is getting almost to the end of the season a little bit. So if you're looking for that baseball crunch, these are the guys you want because they actually talk about prospects. They'll tell you in the ins and outs. Mike VA over there, he's a badass over there. He's over on Twitter. He's over there. MJ does the same. There's no bullshit with these guys. They'll tell you how it is. And it's a great atmosphere to be in. If you like us, I mean, they're as amped as we are too. So I mean,
you like us, you love them. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. So we appreciate everything and everything everybody's done for us. Coming on here. It's an honor, man. We've been 2 years doing this now, out of rhythm. I mean, it's really cool. So keep building this a little bit here, and yeah, hope to add the college show that's in the works and NFL stuff. Like it'll be more of that. Maybe next week we do with with MJ. Then maybe the week after that, maybe do a mock draft. I mean, whatever. I mean, if there's suggestions for content we should do, man, comments, DMs, like if you guys want to see certain stuff, and we'll cover what. I mean, we're pretty flexible. We'll cover whatever. Keep the grind alive. Absolutely.
Nope.
You damn. Gotta keep, yeah, because people don't know the kind of prep work he puts in, that we put in. Mike from VA, Pete, the whole network. It's a lot. It seems like we're up here talking heads, but there's a lot of prep work. The production side, Jay, everything Jay does. Graphic wise, what we do. Writing down. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that people don't see, and so it's good to have peers that appreciate what you do and the work you put in. So.
It sure is, but I think it's time for us to get out of here.
Enough of the PSAs here. It's time to.
But from Out of Rhythm, we appreciate everybody that was actually in the comments. Join us next time. Check my Twitter. When you go live, get in our Discord. I always pump in there when we go live too as well. So if you hasn't, all those links are in the description below. Follow our audio at Spotify and Apple too as well. So you can find all of our stuff there as well. So, but other than that, we are up out of here. I'm Jamie. That's Eli. We will catch you guys next time. Later.